Well, hello there. Omni-sensei here with What If I Was Reborn in JJK with Mahoraga's Adaptation, Part 3. If you enjoy this content, please smash the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the original story linked in the description. I hope you enjoy listening to it.
3 years later, Satoru Gojo. I'm sorry, Yaga. I finally understand it. Why do I have to be the one to find a child? This was supposed to be someone else's job, but since I was one of the people who ended up fighting Toji, I suppose it's partly my responsibility. The homeless man really dumped his child on teenagers. After graduating a couple of years ago and becoming a special grade, I've been able to move around more without the damn higher-ups complaining. It's because of my new position as a special grade and that I am currently the strongest person I know of. The only person who can stop me at this point is missing, and I don't know how they disappeared. Now Hiro Zenin. The first year he went missing, I tried finding leads but ended up finding nothing. This Kenjaku guy is a complete unknown. Working with Tungen hasn't gotten me anywhere since. Apparently, Kenjaku can swap bodies. I've been busy as the only special grade sorcerer in Japan because someone doesn't want to do their job, so I've been on and off searching for Kenjaku when I can. I find him, I find now Hiro. With how I am now, I should be able to defeat my younger self easily, but in the end, I only know very little about Kenjaku. The problem is, after all this time, is now Hiro dead? I shake my head. No way. He won't lose to anyone besides me. Anyway, I finally arrived at Saitama Municipal Urami East Junior High to see Toji's kid and bring him back to the Zenin clan. Now Hiro told me that if something happened to him, to bring Toji's son to his brother Naoya when he awakens his cursed technique. I ended up figuring out why. The 10 Shadows. The curse technique is tied to a 6 eyes limitless user. If nurtured, the technique's potential is astronomical. It also apparently has a trump card that can rival some of the strongest sorcerers, given that the user wants to kill themselves. After waiting around for a bit to make sure that I don't look like a creep, I see a kid who looks to be around 6 to 7 years old. Ugh, he's the one. I walk up to him. You're Megumi Fushiguro, right? The kid turns around and has a monotone voice. Who are you, and what is with that face? I fixed my face and pushed my glasses back up. You just reminded me of your dad. Anyway, my name is Gojo, and I'm here to talk to you about your future. Megumi gave me a deadpan stare. Do I need to call the authorities? A tick mark appeared on my head. You can see things that others can't, right? Your dad was from the Zenin clan, which makes you related to them. I came here because a good friend of mine, now Hiro Zenin, wants to invite you into the clan. Plus, your dad kinda dumped your responsibility on some teenager since we kill. Megumi narrows his eyes. I don't care about what he is doing. He has made it very clear that he doesn't want Tsumiki and me in his life. Then, a girl stepped out onto a balcony to wave to Megumi. I raise an eyebrow. Are you really a 6-year-old? Anyway, that's the gist. I came to invite you to join the Zenin clan. You'll have a lot of backing, especially since now Hiro and Naoya have a lot of influence in the clan. Now Hiro is currently out of Japan, but you'll see him eventually. He ends up turning around to look back at Tsumiki. If I join the Zenin clan, will Tsumiki be happy? I give him a smile. Absolutely. Now Hiro and Naoya have already put the trash in their place. They are both good people, and if you do not like living in the clan, you can always go back to living with your sister. I'll guarantee that. He raises an eyebrow. You can guarantee something like that? I tilt my glasses down to show him my eyes. Of course, I'm the current strongest, after all. Megumi scratched his hair. You're weird, but I would like to know more about the monsters I see. He then narrowed them threateningly. Tsumiki will be happy, or else. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Composing myself, I reply. Yes, I'll keep my word that she'll be happy. He seems to want to say something, but I ruffle his hair. I'll be back tomorrow morning to take you over to the compound. Be ready by then. Whoosh. Before he gets another word in, I teleport back to Jujutsu High. A smile appears on my face. PFT haha. I like him already. He's my exact opposite. Noticing someone looking over at me, I turn to see someone leaning against the wall with a cigarette in her mouth. Shoko looks to the sky and puffs. Welcome back. You kidnapped the child. I recoil back. What? It's called an invitation. She raises an eyebrow. Oh yeah? How will that hold up in court? Scratching my hair, I sigh. The kid was a pain in the butt, and he looks a lot like Toji, but since now Hiro wanted me to bring the kid in, I'll do him this favor. Shoko flinched. I glance at her. Sorry, I have to talk to Naoya, so I'll see you around. She flicks her cigarette and steps on it before leaving. See ya. Damn, even mentioning his name, she freaks out. She is supposed to be the next medical professional here, but she can't look at dead bodies without having a panic attack. To confirm the blood and body parts of the scene were Sugiru's, she was asked to identify them, which did horrible things for her mental state. This sucks. Things were so much more fun. Well, interesting is a better word for it, but it was better than this. Shoko's personality completely shifted. You wouldn't even think she was the same person. Guess it's one more reason to look for Naohiro. Now, then, let me check in on Naoya. Clasping my hands together, I teleport to the Zenin compound training area, where a teenage Naoya can be seen monitoring the training of 3 kids. Turning in my direction, he keeps his stern look. I smile. He's trying so hard to look tough. Yo, I just got back from inviting Toji's kid. I'll bring him here tomorrow. Naoya nodded before turning back to the 3 kids. I'll let the old man know. Thanks, by the way. I appreciate it. I nod and teleport to the empty Gojo compound's training field. Stretching my arms, I say to no one, time to train. Now Hiro, I don't know how long I've been in here since time doesn't flow inside the prison realm. The thing that I do know is that I'm almost ready for everything this world will throw at me. The abilities and breakthroughs I've had here make me want to run out there and see how I compare to others now. I could see through the prison realm's eyes after being immune to its sealing properties. Kenjaku put me thousands of meters underwater after dumping the prison realm in a subduction zone in the Japan Trench. The dude really wants me to stay sealed. It's too bad for him that I'm done here. Now, it's about time for me to leave this thing. I push myself through skeletons and the prison wall to have my body rapidly expand, and then I walk into nothing but water. 8,000 meters of water pressure would be a death sentence for nearly anyone, but I'm built different. People are going to be pissed, but there's no way I'm getting out of it. I quickly shoot upwards. Now Hiro, I push my hands through the surface of the water with a smile. Breathing air for the first time in forever feels nice. I couldn't understand cursed energy before being locked in the prison realm. But now, I'm finally out and understand what Gojo went through. Ha, is it cringe to say I've awakened? Who cares? The only thing I can see is the sky. I close my eyes and recap everything I've accomplished so far. I've figured out how to take the properties of certain adaptations and use them separately. Instead of simply being immune to things, I took inspiration from the 10 shadows by using the properties of my adaptations rather than the 10 shadows Shikigami traits. Since Kenjaku gave me the adaptation to gravity, I can essentially fly or float, depending on how you look at it. The air feels nice. My adaptation technique had evolved past simple resistance and immunities. I thought offense would be a problem, but mixing and matching has given me a near-infinite number of options. I've adapted to infinity, but what it really was spatial manipulation. Any of my attacks can go through space, but I still need a medium for a longer range. It's perfect that I have the split soul katana since it doubles as a medium and as soul damage, even though I can infuse my regular punches with it. You can guard against bypassing space. Here is a soul attack. You can reinforce your soul. Take this special slash. You can protect against both. You have plot armor. I can effectively bypass any durability that anyone has. Soul manipulation is also something that I've mastered, meaning I can visit a pair of twins. The only person better than me at it would be a true form, Mahito. Sadly, I don't have Kenjaku marked since I only interacted with the bodies he inhabits, but Uram is still on the table. Hopefully, less than 10 years have gone by. The things I have picked up over the years finally paid off. The 120% potential amplification from Black Flash, the amount of cursed energy/control I have, and the benefits gained by absorbing part of Sukuna make me able to pick up things faster than Gojo. With sealing out of the way, I don't think anyone can beat me now, maybe besides him at full strength, but I've ensured that no slash of his will hurt me unless he brings something out that he hasn't used since the Heian era. Megumi should have his technique by now, right? Maybe I should teach him a little about Mahoraga. Fighting the Shikigami might be fun. I smile, thinking about it. I've done it. I've finally accomplished what I set out to do. I became strong, too strong. Half closing my eyes, I smile at the small box in my hand. But who cares if I'm too strong? It's good to be back. The first thing I'm going to do is visit Urom. If Kenjaku is there, that's great, but he most likely knows that I'm back. I doubt he would throw me down there without something to notify him of a possible breach. After that, I might take a trip to whoever shot that piercing blood at me. It could have realistically been anyone. I wonder how Kenjaku got Choso to work with him this time around. He was a pretty good guy because all he wanted to do was protect and be with his brothers. Hitting me with that piercing blood allowed me to track him, so I'll check on Urom and then see what is up with Choso. I'd rather not kill the guy, but who knows since canon is so far off the rails that there is almost no way to predict how people will act. However, the thing I need to do first is sniff. Sniff. I smell like shit. Urom, that damn Kenjaku. He is leaving me to die. While Kenjaku acts like a fool and is safe, he keeps me far away. The worst part is I don't even know where he went. One of the worst-case scenarios happened. One that was thought to be impossible. Now Hero Zenin escaped the prison realm. No one knew why he disappeared. Kenjaku and I ensured that, so how did he get out? If it wasn't bad enough, now Hero Zenin has some tracking ability, so Kenjaku suggested splitting up for now. I start biting my thumbnail, but then something clicks with me. The prison realm seals cursed energy. Getting out means that he is likely not at full strength. I was originally caught off guard because I didn't think he would use domain expansion as soon as we started fighting. Can I beat him? I might deny reality, but it is my only shot at survival if he is just as strong as he was when he was sealed. But if he is stronger? I shake my head. I can't think like that. There is no way he was able to do anything inside. He knows where I am, so I must finish preparing for Master Sukuna's return in case I die. His revival is more important than anything that happens to me. Picking up my things, I head over to the site and run into a large room with a pool in the middle. Except the pool is filled with cursed spirits, cursed energy, and poisons. When he gets incarnated, he'll need full control over his vessel due to the issues surrounding Yuji Itadori's creation. He created the child to be a cage for Master Sukuna. Disgusting and disrespectful. It's humiliating for a god to be trapped within a child. If he weren't needed, I would have slowly killed him, even if he was a child. Grabbing a bowl of concocted poison from poisonous creatures, I walk over and dump the entire bowl into the pit. It's finally finished. The bath. I sit, slide against a wall, and close my eyes. It's all for him. Who cares if I glurk? Snapping my eyes open, I see a hand around my throat, picking me up and only squeezing harder. How? I didn't sense anyone. My eyes widen as I notice the person in front of me. UMMPH, I try to get words out but am met with a harder choke. In a last-ditch effort to survive, I grab his hand before trying to freeze it. However, he grabs it with his other hand. Rip. Spat. My entire arm gets ripped off. I try using the reverse curse technique, but it doesn't work. As my body starts to go limp, I hear a voice. So, this is where you've been hiding. Been a while, Nishida. Huh? Now, tell me where Kenjaku is, and then you can die. However, if you don't. He grabs my other arm. Rip. Spat. He smiles. This will take a while. My eyes widen in horror. Now, hero. Crack. Please. Crack. Ah. This is pretty good reverse curse technique output training. Snap. I told you I don't know. I know using my domain has been overused, but it's annoying to constantly touch someone to lock their cursed energy. Why not just have an entire environment where the person is helpless? I sigh. I would say I don't believe you and bullshit like that. But I know you don't know. I'm just enjoying this. Opening my eyes and seeing the broken Urom is very satisfying. Then I think of something. Hey, I got another question for you. I get a groan in return. Tilting my head to the side, I ask the question many have wondered. Are you a female? Slowly turning towards me, they speak up. Of course, do I look like a mun to you? Yes, we finally have our answer. Now then. I guess it's time to end this. I'll still need to meet up with Choso. Tears start to form in her eyes. Master Sukuna will kill everyone you hold dear. I hope you scream in terror when he rips you limb from limb. Rip. Ah. There goes her last leg. Like that. She closes her eyes while face first on the ground. I hope you burn in hell. I smile. Do you want to know something, Urom? I have known who you are since I was born. In a different world, Toji was one of the people I thought was cool, but meeting him made me paint a different picture. The same goes for Satoru Gojo. I was never a huge fan of him, but now I am his best friend. She turns her head to look at me with widened eyes. I continue. This is what I will do to Sukuna for what he did to Satoru. Since you worship him as your god, I'll reward you with a slash he needed a Shikigami to learn. Smiling, I raise my hand. I don't need to do this to launch it, but I want to. A massive smirk appears on my face. Twin meteors, dismantle. Slice. With a broken look on her face, Urom gets sliced in two. From her stomach, that had her cursed energy flow. A massive weight has just fallen off my shoulders. Urom is dead. Picking up the new bisected one, I throw both of her halves into the pool of the bath, in which she gets slowly eaten and disintegrates. I don't want the possibility of someone coming here and using a reverse curse technique. Walking from the ritual site, I close my eyes and lock on to Choso's cursed energy. Choso, we all sit in a circle as we finally get to talk to each other. I have a short smile on my face. Eso, Kichizu, Tanso, Shooso, Katsuso, Naranso, Shoso, and Sanso. We are finally done with Noritoshi Kamo. Our father incarnated us just to threaten us to kill some sorcerer. Calling him our father makes me want to vomit. I will kill anyone if it means my brothers are safe. As the strongest of us all and as the oldest brother, I was tasked with killing a kid if things got out of hand. Now that he has been taken care of, we are free to do as we please. Had they not been held hostage, I would have killed Noritoshi Kamo. Sorcerers, curses, or humans, I don't care. As long as my brothers are safe, I couldn't care less about what happens in the world. I close my eyes as a weight gets lifted from my shoulder. We're finally done. Then, the wind flies by me, and my eyes snap open. Instantly, I charge up convergence and aim a piercing blood at the person who invaded our home. Just then, a person appeared behind me and threw an arm around my shoulder. Hey, Choso, so you were the one who shot that thing at me. I try to launch the piercing blood to my left, but the blood drips and doesn't fire. The cursed energy was removed. I stop moving when a large sword gets placed against my neck. What the hell do you want? He ponders for a moment. I just wanted to meet the one who kept me from killing Kenjaku. My name's Naohiro Zenin. I wanted to talk to you for a bit. My brothers started to make a move, but I gave them a look that made them stand down. I scowl. How did you find me, us, and how do you know who I am? He gives me a closed-eye smile. Urom gets very talkative if you know how to push her buttons. Now then, I wanted to ask you a question. Why did you attack me? You don't seem like the kind of guy to do it. Keeping my face, I reply. What do you know about me? He quickly replies. I know a lot more than you think. Lowering my hostility, I sigh. I was threatened. My brother's life was in jeopardy. I would do anything for them. Surprisingly, he lowers his sword and gets off of me. I get it, but you could have left other people out of it. Civilians died. He ponders before continuing. What do you say that I'll keep you and your brother safe if you join me? You're already a special grade half-curse, and all you want to do is protect your brothers. I start to charge convergence behind me. What makes you think I'll listen to your words? He smiles. Convergence, huh? Don't worry, if I wanted you dead. He narrowed his eyes and raised his cursed energy. You would already be dead. My eyes widen as I drop my convergence. How does he have so much cursed energy? Then, the cursed energy returns to normal, and he smiles at me. Plus, if you join me, I know where another one of your brothers is. My eyes widen to unimaginable heights. Are you serious? He keeps a neutral look on his face. Noritoshi Kamo, your biological father, had a kid with someone named Jin Itadori. Specifically, Yuji Itadori is your half-brother. I fall to my knees and grab my head. I didn't even know I had another brother. Naohiro, reaches his hand out towards me. I narrow my eyes. I'll join you, however, if you lie to me. Naohiro closed his eyes. I have my own brother, so I understand where you are coming from. I'm not going to screw with someone like that. I smile genuinely and grab his hand as I turn towards my brothers. It's now time to meet another one of our brothers. Naohiro Zenin is now our ally for the time being. Naohiro spoke up. While you can see him, you must wait before talking to him. He has a role to play since Noritoshi Kamo will keep his eyes on him. If you involve yourself in his life right now, you could endanger yourself and your brothers. I look sad before narrowing my eyes. Do not go back on your word. He smiles. I promise on the name of my own brother. Yuji Itadori. I'll be a good older brother. Naohiro talking to Choso, we discussed how we would join forces. I asked him to join the Zenin clan as a fighting force when I got back and settled into Jujutsu society. Politics and other related topics aren't my forte, so I'll feel great about the future with Naoya running the clan. Speaking of Naoya, he is probably the most pissed since this is the second time I've left. Yaga, Gojo, and Shoko are the others that are really big parts of my life. I'll be upfront and tell them about Kenjaku and the ceiling. I didn't mean to abandon them, but I ended up using more time than necessary to get stronger than ever before. I could have escaped, but I used the time to train, which was extremely useful. Ultimately, I was in the world's strongest sealed cursed object. Uram told me it's been 3 years since I was sealed, so the ball has finally gotten rolling as far as main events are concerned. Now, it's finally time to make my way to Jujutsu High. I start to levitate and fly. Men, this is so much more convenient than walking. Gojo would get to places faster due to teleportation, but I now have a good way of travel. Arriving at Jujutsu High, I smiled, as I hadn't seen this place in so long. Whoosh. HM? Turning to the sound, I see Gojo. Been a while, huh? He removes his glasses and stares at me, most likely checking my cursed energy due to my new appearance. Holy shit, it really is you. Gojo has a flabbergasted face. Where have you been? It's been 3 years, and nobody has heard from you. I pull out a small box. See this thing? It's called the Prison Realm, the strongest sealing cursed object on the planet. It seals cursed energy, and time doesn't flow inside. He tried getting words out but couldn't find them. What? I smiled. Kenjaku sealed me with it and tossed me 8,000 meters underwater in a subduction zone in the Japan Ocean. No matter how hard you looked, you wouldn't find me unless I figured a way out. Gojo narrowed his eyes and put his glasses back on. Kenjaku, how the hell did you get out? I look up to the sky. There is a back door in the prison realm. I just figured it out. He pauses. Also, what happened with Suguru? I tell it to him straight. Kenjaku killed him and stole his body before I left to go check on him. I was able to take out the body so he wouldn't be able to use cursed spirit manipulation. Boom. His facial features didn't change, but his surroundings caved in as if the gravity multiplied. After a few seconds, everything turned back to normal, and he sat down. The Kenjaku guy killed Suguru and sealed you. He paused again. Do you have any leads on where he could be? I close my eyes. Remember Nishida? Her name was Uram, and she was a servant of Ryaman Sukuna, who was working with Kenjaku. I found her and extracted information about her, but Kenjaku ditched her as soon as he found out I had left the prison realm. It turns out that they are looking to revive him, and Kenjaku already has more than 15 fingers. His head lowers. This sucks. I scoff. Tell me about it. After that, he started rubbing his head. You're a rogue cursed user now, so usually you wouldn't be allowed here, but you have enough support to ignore any order that the higher-ups give you. Obviously, I won't listen to those bastards, and I doubt Yuki will fight you. Question is, what the hell are you going to do now? I sit down. I'm not completely sure, but I have a few things in mind. You and I are strong enough to kill Kenjaku, but you're not at the level to kill a fully powered Sukuna. The first thing you should do is get strong enough so that nobody can come close to you, aside from me. He huffs out a laugh. You can kill a full-power Sukuna? My face turns serious. I would say I'd win, but that's a curse, and I'm not 100% sure since I've got no clue what special stuff he might be hiding aside from his main curse technique, which consists of slashing. I'm strong, but I want to get stronger. He stands up. That's so? In any case, you should see Shoko. She was hit hard when Suguru died and you went missing. Her medical growth has been completely stunted ever since. I'm not good at consoling people, but she needs to see you. I stand up, too. I feel like shit. Gojo smiles. You should. Then he ponders for a moment. That reminds me. I brought Toji's kid and his sister to the Zenin clan. He's currently training under Naoya with 3 other kids. I smirk. Thanks, appreciate it. He nods, walks away, and does a backward wave. Now, then, I'm going to need to talk to Shoko. Since I was a rogue cursed user, I expected people to jump me, but no one attacked me on my way to the dorms. Even if she graduated, she still was living in the dorms. After going to the door, I rip the band-aid off and knock. 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 The door opens, and I see Shoko with a cigarette in her mouth, even if it's in the dorms. I give her a small smile. Sorry, it's B-. She puts her palm on the front of my face as if making sure I'm real. Then, she narrows her eyes. You better have a damn good reason to come back here after all this time. Nothing for 3 years. Is that Shoko? I tilt my head back. Look, I've been sealed by a cursed object called the prison realm. Sorry, but I was under circumstances that didn't allow me to return. I would have loved to come back, but there were a few reasons why I couldn't. She crosses her arms and leans on the door before taking her cigarette and putting it out on a tray. I'm not going to ask you why because I feel like I'd only get more stressed out than I already am, but I have to know what happened to Suguru. I frown. He had been killed by a man named Kenjaku. Shoko pauses. Damn it. She continues. I'll need some time. We'll talk later, all right? I closed my eyes. Sure. She closed the door. Well, that sucked. Talking to Yaga can come later, but I need to come back to the clan compound. I arrived fairly quickly, and just like last time, the guards were too shocked to let me walk right into the front door. Without even making it a few feet into the compound, a certain 18-year-old non-misogynist appears before me. He closes his eyes, being surprisingly calm. I'm not going to ask you anything. Follow me to the training field. I know exactly what this will be, so I'll play along for now. A minute later, we are standing across from each other. His expression is unreadable. I've been training so hard ever since you left, and I know that you might not tell me what is going on with you, but I want to understand it. He continues. I don't want you to hold anything back. Then my eyes widen as he puts his hands together. Domain expansion, Time Cell Moon Palace. Now hero a black barrier encases us both. Then, a fleshy, womb-like structure with a giant eye in the middle forms, with Naoya standing in front of it. I smile before activating my anti-domain. Falling Blossom Emotion. With the injection of films that the sure hit gives to its victims, Falling Blossom Emotion can counter them before they enter one's body. Similarly to how my domain works, getting hit by the sure hit a single time means you are under its rules. I can't help but give him a genuine smile. I'm extremely impressed that you were able to pull it off. I'm confused why you asked me to go all out even when you know that my domain would overwhelm yours. Normally, there are a few ways to tell how refined a domain is. One is whether the domain is completed. 2 is the stability of the structure. Finally, the third is seeing the effect on the user. Surprisingly, he smiles back. I wanted to see how my domain stacks up to more refined ones. However, I notice something. Is this your first time pulling off the complete domain? He widens his eyes. What? I sit down in the middle. You can barely hold this thing together. If you move an inch, the whole thing will shatter. You put too much cursed energy into it, making you nearly run dry as soon as it came out. Pumping above and beyond cursed energy is only needed when you are at a clear refinement disadvantage with another domain. Naoya stands still but still ponders before snorting a laugh. You are the only person who can sit down in someone's domain expansion and explain to them what they are doing wrong. I continue. While it can have a huge payoff, expanding a domain right from the jump can weaken you if it gets removed, so it should be used carefully. He gives me a deadpan stare. I raise an eyebrow. What? Naoya keeps his deadpan stare. You are the last person I want to hear that from. What is he talking about? Then it hits me. I expand my domain a lot, don't I? He smirks. You throw domains out like they are basic cursed energy reinforcement. Bonk. His domain shatters. Well, I can afford to repeatedly use them. It's called an effective use of your technique. However, his smirk stays on his face. Sure, whatever you want to call it. I huff a laugh. In any case, you picked it up pretty quick. So, what is this thing about being a rogue cursed user? Gojo told me about it but didn't go into specifics. Also, why haven't I been attacked since returning? He flops his head back. Ugh. You really are a dense anime protagonist. Of course, no one will attack you, you're freakishly strong. Why follow some dumbass rule if it's going to get you killed? I rub the back of my head. I guess you're right. What was it about the cursed user stuff, then? Naoya sits down. If you want the specifics, you are rated as a special grade cursed user. You are also known as one of the most dangerous cursed users in history. I smile. Nice. Special grade, and I get a title. He narrows his eyes. It truly isn't nice. The higher-ups in Jujutsu society are going to be gunning for your head. Obviously, the Zenin opposed a rule since anyone who has known you for more than 2 seconds knows that you didn't kill that ghetto guy. Sighing, I stare up. A guy named Kenjaku killed him and then sealed me in an object called the prison realm for a few years. One of his eyebrows raised. Then how the hell did you get so jacked during that time? I stretch my arms. I was able to move inside, so why waste the time inside when I could be training? He looked at me like I was stupid. So this Kenjaku guy didn't seal you but gave you a personalized training room? I laugh. When you phrase it like that, he sure did. Then I remember something important. Oh yeah, I have a couple of half-curse friends that I want to bring inside the compound. His mouth drops. Ha! How the hell did you make friends? I start to sweat. They were strong, trustworthy people passionate about brothers, so we kind of hit it off. His eyes narrow. You aren't telling me something, are you? I start whistling. I may or may not have used your name in a binding vow. Don't worry, I'm not going to break it, and even if I did, all you would need to do is change your name. He stares at nothing. You leave for 3 years, come back out of the blue, and use me in a binding vow. I quickly speak up. So what about those 4 people you are training now? He looks like he will explode before he scratches his hair and sighs. We will talk about this later. Currently, I'm training Ranta, Maki, and Mai, with the newer addition being Toji's son, Megumi Fushiguro. I smile. The 10 Shadows. Kid. I asked Gojo to bring him here if anything happened to me. Naoya had a neutral look. Since he was a Zenin, we offered a name change, but he was adamant that he keep Fushiguro because of his sister. I'm not going to lie, it's creepy how much he is attached to her. His sister is nothing special, but since they were both taken in, she will also be a new clan member. I give him a smirk. I'd like to meet everyone. I've finally figured out how to split the connection between the 2 sisters, and no, it won't involve hurting them. He gives me a side eye but stands up. Alright, I'll get them. A few minutes later, he returns to the training field, and a line of children follows him like ducklings. I do notice, however, that one of them has spiky black hair and is staring into the sky. It's the Mahoraga merchant. After arriving at the training field, Naoya introduced me in a monotone voice. Here is my brother, Naohiro. I'm only really doing this for Megumi since the rest of you know, but you guys will be interacting with him from now on. I get judging stares. The little shits. Standing up, I walk over to the twins. I'm Naohiro, and I'll first turn off that stupid connection holding you two back. Maki and my recoil, but I put my hand on their heads and close my eyes to see similar souls tangled together with weird strings. If this were me of the past, who couldn't understand manipulation, it would take me a little while, but I quickly uncoiled them and severed the connection. Just then, Maki fell over and started breathing fairly heavily. Her cursed energy was taken, and Mai's cursed energy shot up to a semi-grade 1 sorcerer's level. I smiled. Now Maki has her heavenly restriction unlocked, and Mai now has the amount of cursed energy that she was supposed to have. The looks I receive are those of a mun who did the impossible. Since none of them are talking, I'll do the honors. Now that the connection problem is solved, I will work with you, Megumi. I'm unsure what to do with you, Ranta, so stay with Naoya for now. I'll need to talk to Megumi about a few things or one big thing. Rather than receiving replies, Maki and Mai nod together. Ranta speaks up with wide eyes. Understood, Master Naohiro. Master? Well, if it works for him, I guess. Megumi speaks up. Are you just as weird as the Gojo guy, hey? Rather than arguing with a child, I pick him up by the back of his shirt and drag him away from the rest of the group. While he gets dragged, I notice a tick mark. What the heck is your deal? My gaze turns serious as I tilt my head to look at him. We are going to lay some ground rules. The first thing is that attitude needs to go. Second, we are going to talk about your 10th Shikigami. If you can utilize your curse technique, you'll become a walking calamity. However, if you don't do anything, all you will ever be is a potential mun. He glares at me and grumbles before crossing his arms and mumbling. Mumble, at least that Gojo guy wasn't an asshole. I smile as a thought hits me. I've thought of something. Until I'm satisfied with your progress as a sorcerer, you'll be known as Potential Mun. His eyebrow raises. Potential Mun? I nod. Yes, you'll be the Potential Mun from now on. Also, we are going to talk about Mahoraga. His eyes widen to unimaginable heights. How do you know about? My eyes narrow as I drop him on the ground after making our way to a different training field. The 10 Shadows isn't particularly strong in a normal sense, but one constant in the users makes it rival the strongest technique, Mahoraga. If you drag someone into its subjugation ritual 99.99% of the time, the other person will die without exception. However, the user will die as well. He keeps his widened eyes and doesn't speak. I continue. No one in history has currently tamed Mahoraga, so it's used as a suicidal technique to kill the other person in the ritual. You're going to become strong enough to not rely on it. I'm going to hammer that point into your potential skull. I also want to see if it's possible for you to tame it, so we will do some test runs with it. Fighting Mahoraga will also give me useful training. Fighting one of the strongest beings in the entire verse will help me understand my current level. Is it ethically wrong to use Megumi's technique for my training? Probably, but I couldn't care less. He stutters. How are you going to do that? You'll die. I have a shit-eating grin on my face. Don't worry, I'm the strongest. Now hero obviously, I won't ask Megumi to summon Mahoraga right now because of our location in the Zenin clan compound. I'd rather not destroy everything in a fight. That will come later, but for now. I speak up. How many Shikigami have you tamed so far? He blinks. Ha. I narrow my eyes. Potential. Mun. How many Shikigami have you tamed? Megumi shakes his head. I've only got my divine dogs at the moment. I grab my chin. That will work for now. I want you to tame one of your Shikigami right now. He shoots up. Are you insane? I'm only 7. Are you trying to get me killed? I smirk. The rule for your subjugation ritual is that if defeated while the ritual is still in effect, you will be in a state of suspended animation until the ritual ends. In other words, even if you die, I can bring you back after participating in the ritual and defeating the Shikigami. A look of horror appears on his face. Why, you are insane. Then it hit me, although, if I'm the one healing you, you won't be able to fight consecutively after each ritual. Luckily, I know someone who is better at reverse curse technique output than I am. Anyway, what is better than being able to practice against your future Shikigami? It looks like he accepted his fate. I'm going to die. I correct him. You are going to temporarily die. There is a difference. He looks at me with hollow eyes before I laugh. I'm not going to make you fight Mahoraga right off the bat. The first one you'll be doing is the frog. His eyes narrow. It's a toad. I roll my eyes. Summon your dogs. He scoffs before making the shadowgraphic hand signs for the divine dogs. Suddenly, 2 dogs manifest out of the shadows with a howl. A woo. Walking over to the side of the field, I speak up. Now, start the ritual with the frog and defeat it. Sweating, he makes the hand sign for Toad and starts the ritual. Bam. The fight starts off with Megumi getting punched in the face with a tongue. He gets up and rubs his cheek. Go. 5 minutes later. Huff. Huff. A heavy breathing, scraped up Megumi lies on the ground. To say I was disappointed would be an understatement. He did manage to tame the frog, but it was rough. He is only 7 years old, but he had the help of his 2 divine dogs. He turns his head to me as he sits up. So. I sigh. The end result was good, but you can improve in many areas. Did you even think of setting up a beneficial terrain to make it easier for you or creating a strategy of attack? He widened his eyes, but I continued. The ritual can't be completed with outside help, but what's there to say that you can't perform the subjugation ritual with a pre-existing environment? In any case, I'm disappointed with how you went about it. Megumi spoke up. I'm only 7, my glare shuts him up. I couldn't care less. It's a frog. He flops back on the ground and looks at the sky. This sucks. Why are you even helping me anyway? I huff a laugh. Do you want the honest reason or the bullshit that normal people will feed you? He turns his head towards me. The real reason. I make my way to him and sit down. I want to use Mahoraga as a training partner. I doubt people would be happy with me dragging around a 7-year-old to use him as a training dummy, but honestly, I don't care what other people think. He raised an eyebrow. Then why help me if you don't care what other people think? Giving him a side glance, I lean back. Because you're a walking nuke. All it takes is you chanting a summoning ritual to kill nearly anyone you want. If you rely on it as a final move, you are wasting all of your potential by killing yourself. Megumi surprisingly smirks. Hence the name Potentialman, right? I speak up. Not exactly why I gave you the name, but sure, let's go with that. I don't feel like healing you, so I'll use you as my excuse to go see Shoko. He stands up in protest. But you dash grab. With that, I take off to go see Shoko with some odd screaming behind me. We return to Shoko's place at Jujutsu High a few minutes later. Again, no one decides to attack me. I drop Megumi, but he stands up before having choice words for me. Listen here. I'm tired of you dragging me around. I can't help but laugh. PFT. What are you going to do about it? Summon Mahoraga. His face reddens, and he points at me. You said it yourself. I don't need him to beat you. I raise my eyebrow. Since when did I say you're going to be stronger than me? He pauses before calming down. Ugh. Can't you talk to your girlfriend without using me as a tool? I smile. I could, but it's funnier this way. You should also get to know who will be healing you from near death. Oh, and for the record, she's not my girlfriend. I need more time before I settle down with anyone. Now then, do you want me to drag you, or will you walk? He accepts defeat. I'll walk. After making my way towards her dorm, again, I knock on the door. Knock. Knock. The door opens to a Shoko with a neutral look on her face. Didn't I tell you I needed some time? Hey, is that the kid Gojo kidnapped? I give her a smile. Sure is, and yes, you did tell me, but I thought I should introduce you to Megumi Fushiguro. He keeps a neutral face. I was forced. She gives a smile. Sounds like something he'd do. I'm Shoko, a semi-grade 2 sorcerer, and friends with the idiot dragging you around. He loudly whispers to her. Are you just as weird as him and Gojo? She keeps her smile. Don't worry, I'm the normal one in our class. So, why did you bring the kid here? I give her a closed-eye smile. Well, you'll be his new medical professional while he trains. She raised an eyebrow. Since when was I a medical professional? I tilt my head to the side. Well, you can't stay in your dorm forever, so I thought you might want to help a friend with our training sessions. She huffed a laugh. Using a kid as an excuse to get to talking again. Fine, what's the sales pitch? I gave her a genuine smile. Found me out, huh? Well, Gojo had told me you were stunted in your growth as a medical sorcerer, so I wanted to give you the perfect opportunity to get back into the whole thing. She pondered for a moment. I guess it is getting boring here, so sure. I'll see what it's about. I'm not sure that I'll be extremely useful in the type of shit that you put people through. Zenin compound, right? I smirk. Yep, a bunch of the kids in Naoya will need some extra help since no one there is great at outputting reverse curse technique. Shoko nodded. See you tomorrow. She shuts the door. Megumi speaks up. That was pretty awkward. Bonk. Shut it. Potential man. Yuki Tsukumo, what could possibly be so important that they would bring me back for my vacation mission in Africa? The idiotic higher-ups had an emergency mission assigned to me. Gojo is already in Japan. Why not ask him? While the flight back is nice, I have to get right back to business. This whole special grade thing has its downsides. Higher-ups expect you to listen to everything they say. Originally, I was the first person asked to transport the star plasma vessel, but I turned them down. They weren't happy, but who could they send to stop me? Hopefully, I can quickly deal with this before heading overseas for another mission. A few hours later, we landed, and I had a black car to pick me up to go straight to Jujutsu headquarters. What a pain in the butt. The car ride was silent. I didn't even bother asking about the driver's type since he likely wouldn't respond to me anyway. Those people are no fun to mess with. Around 30 minutes later, we arrived at Jujutsu headquarters, the head of Jujutsu Society and the home of the higher-ups. After getting out and making my way up the stairs, I entered the building, ignoring the guard at the front. So I can get out of here as quickly as possible, I head straight for the room before a man in a suit reaches his hand out. A meeting is currently in place. I roll my eyes. I'm not waiting. They called me here, so I'm going in. The man seemed to want to protest, but he quickly stepped aside when he saw my expression. I push open the doors. Bam! The doors slam open, and a man stands in the middle of the room, surrounded by orange panels. I announce my presence. What did you possibly need me for? You had to fly me back from my mission. The man spoke up. Who do you think you are? However, before I got to respond, one of the geezers spoke. We will discuss this later, so leave. Yuki Tsukumo, welcome. The random man was going to protest but went white when he heard my name. I didn't know. I flopped my head back. Ugh. Get out. Instead of arguing, he quickly shuffled his way out. I raise my eyebrow. Now then, what do you need me for? A woman speaks from my left. Now Hero Zenin is back. My eyes widen. Are you serious? Then, a raspy voice spoke on my right. As you should know, he is labeled as a curse user. My eyes start to narrow as I understand my purpose here. Stop beating around the bush. What do you want? A man behind the panel in front of me speaks. He is a dangerous special grade cursed user. The new special grade sorcerer, Satoru Gojo, has made his opinions known on the matter. Flashback. 1 year ago. Piss off. End of flashback. They continue. So, we want you to take his place as now Hero Zenin's executioner. The room goes silent. I speak up with a serious face. Why are you so adamant about killing him? Anyone who has known him at all would know he wouldn't kill Geto. The woman from before spoke up. How preposterous. He killed a grade 1 sorcerer and abandoned his duties. There is no room for debate. The evidence is clear. This is treason of the highest degree. I scowl. Are you so blinded by your own ego that you won't listen to multiple credible sources? Time and time again, you won't listen to anything people say, even if the evidence is right before your eyes. Your agenda is the only thing that matters to you. Gasp. A raspy voice yells from behind me. How insulting. We keep Jujutsu society from falling apart, and you dare accuse us of such actions. I huff a laugh before turning serious again. Yes. Feeling multiple glares on me, I continue. I have a piece of advice for you. The same voice gets louder. What? My voice turns cold. If you want to survive, I suggest removing his cursed user status. He's a mun who won't care about your status as a higher-up. Getting in his way or pissing him off is one of the last things you want to do if you want to stay alive. I wouldn't say anything like this in normal circumstances, but Tingen shared many things about him. Things that can even worry me. They are too shocked to speak, so I do the honors. While I could probably do a good job against him, I would have an extremely hard time winning. If he had gotten even stronger than the last time I saw him, I would most likely lose 10 times out of 10. So, no, I will not be his executioner. The room goes silent again, so I leave the room with a serious look on my face. Damn it, now I'm pissed. Now Hero, I am sitting next to Shoko, who is lying on her back with a cigarette in her mouth while Megumi does physical training. If he goes into his rituals with a weak body, he is going to die much quicker. We can't have that, can we? I turn to Shoko with a raised eyebrow. Do you know the irony of a medical sorcerer smoking? She smirks. Reverse curse technique. I give her a deadpan stare. 7-year-olds don't have reverse cursed technique. Her smirk widens. But aren't I his personal medical professional? I scratch my head. Throwing my own words at me. Huh? Anyways, I'm planning on fighting something insane, so I might need your expertise in case something happens. She sits up. You need my help with the reverse curse technique? I give her another deadpan stare. Not me, but in case Megumi gets his head punched off before I can start to fight the thing. She huffs a laugh. Well, if his head gets punched off, there isn't much I can do. I smile back. True, but I'll need preparation so other people won't get involved in our fight. I'm confident I can beat his Shikigami, but he can get destructive if left unchecked. She looks concerned. What the hell are you going to be fighting? I tilt my head to the side. Ryaman Sukuna's father. Shoko gives me an "Are you stupid?" look, so I laugh. It's an inside joke, so you wouldn't get it. All she does is raise an eyebrow before looking back at Megumi. So I think to myself, where should I fight Mahoraga? It's not like I can fly around a city and throw hands with him, although that does sound like a lot of fun. I've been thinking about multiple locations, but it's hard to keep something as insane as Mahoraga under the radar. Well, I'll figure it out. Now Hero. Maybe I can ask Tingen for a favor. Since Yuki, Choso, and Kenjaku could go all out, I do not doubt that I would be able to let loose against the Shikigami. The question is, how do I ask Tingen for something when I'm labeled as a special grade rogue cursed user? They will not let what they see as a massive threat near the tombs of the star. After pondering for a while, I get a notice. A random Zenin servant makes his way up to me. Sir, you have a visitor. I smile. Who is it? He quickly replies. A representative of the Jujutsu headquarters requests to meet with you. So they are finally trying to do something about me. Strangely, I hadn't had any issues with my current status. I reply. Let him in. I want to see what he wants to talk about. He sweat drops a little. The representative was adamant about talking to you in a secure location. I raise my eyebrow. He comes here and demands that I go meet somewhere, and I'm just supposed to say yes? For all I know, they want to jump me, and I know that I'm not on their good side. If he won't come inside the compound, tell him to go bother someone else. I'm trying to figure something out at the moment. He looked like he would speak up but closed his mouth and ran back towards the entrance to tell the representative what I said. A few minutes later, a bald old man in a suit with a mustache follows the Zenin servant. The man walks over to me. I'm still sitting down with Shoko, and Megumi stops running to turn to us. The old man opens his mouth, but I cut him off. Did I tell you to stop running, potential man? With a sweat drop, he looked back and kept running. Shoko spoke up. This has to be some sort of crime. I could tell he was irritated, but he took a deep breath before speaking up with a smile. Hello, now Hero Zenin. I am one of the representatives who speak for the Jujutsu Council. I keep a nonchalant face. What do you want? I know you guys don't like me. Stop pretending like you do. His eyes narrowed. Due to recommendations, your current status as a special grade rogue cursed user has been changed to special grade sorcerer. I raise my eyebrow. Recommendations? Since when have you guys started listening to recommendations? He semi-drops his professional persona by frowning. Yuki Tsukumo, Gojo Satoru, and Masamichi Yaga have all let their opinions be known to us. All of these recommendations state that we remove the title, so we would like to speak to you about the events regarding your disappearance and Suguru Geto's murder. I rest my head on my hand. I was sealed in a cursed object, and Suguru was killed by the time I got there. I recently was unsealed. End of story. He kept his face. Please take this seriously. Jujutsu Society needs to know the specifics in case of a repeat of the killing of a sorcerer. I notice that Shoko gets a little uncomfortable, most likely discussing Suguru's death. No wonder Gojo hated these people. I kept a neutral face. I need to speak to Tungen about this, not you goons. It's a waste of time when you guys aren't able to do anything about it. He's finally done acting nice. You request a meeting with Tungen immediately after getting your status overturned? I smile. It's not your job to speculate. You represent Mr. Representative. Now, then, I'm going to go see Tungen. I still need to ask the old lady about a few things. He widens his eyes as I stand up and walk past him, fake smiling. Thanks for overturning my status. Shoko, I'm going to see Tungen. Can you look over Megumi for me while I'm gone? She nods. Alright, meeting Tungen kills two birds with one stone. Talking about Kenjaku as well as setting up my new training room. With the announcement that my status was overturned, I got a call midair from Gojo. Sighing, I hear a loud yell. How did you get those idiots to pull that stick out of their butt? I smiled. I have a few theories, and if you didn't do anything to influence it, I'm going with option B, Yuki did something. There is no way that the higher-ups would go out of their way to do something unless threatened. He responds. Why didn't they listen to me? Gojo can sometimes act like a dense anime protagonist. I huff a laugh. I have no clue, but I'm for sure not on their good side, even if my rogue cursed user status has been overturned. There was a pause. Gojo spoke up. How's Shoko? Heard you got her out of her room. Keeping my smile, I speak up. She's doing well. She is now Megumi's personal medical professional. I swear I could hear an eyebrow raise. What are you doing to Megumi to get him a healer as good as Shoko? I try to hold in a laugh before replying. His technique has a loophole that we can exploit, and he's going to need someone who is good at outputting reverse curse technique. He huffs. Well, don't kill him. With that, I see Jujutsu High. Heyman, got to go. I need to talk to Tungen about something. See you later. Gojo spoke up. Alright, see ya. I hang up as I land in front of Jujutsu High for what feels like the 1000th time. Knowing where the tombs are located, I head there. However, knowing where the tombs are located isn't enough since multiple sections are made to throw off unwanted visitors. Luckily, I made sure to track Tingen in our first meeting, making it easy. I won't leave one of the most important beings in the world unchecked when Kenjaku is running about taking backshots, even if it is a little creepy to be tracking an old woman. After a while, I could sneak my way past the random goons located outside. However, Tingen should know I'm here, so I'm not too worried about it. I heard the ding when I went down an elevator that seemed to never stop. It opens to a 5-foot-tall white-haired girl who, if you didn't know her, would look like she was in her late teens, sitting down at a familiar table. She speaks up. "So, you've arrived." I smile. Looks like the assimilation went well. She turns to me. "Why are you here?" I sigh. "All right, I won't beat around the bush. I was sealed in the prison realm by Kenjaku. That was the reason I was gone for 3 years." She narrowed her eyes, but in more of a strange way than hostile. "I knew he would come after you eventually, but I didn't think it would be so soon, especially with the prison realm. Also, if you were sealed inside, how did you?" "Ah. I could move around, so I trained my body." Tengen nodded. "I see. So, what would you like from me?" I raised an eyebrow. "You don't seem too concerned that Kenjaku sealed me." She then gave me a neutral face. "You are out, are you not?" I rubbed the back of my head. "Well, yeah, but I expected more of a reaction. Anyway, I wanted to ask you if I could use the empty barriers above the tombs for training." She raises her own eyebrow. "Why must you use that area specifically for training?" I smirk. "Because with the type of training I'm going to be doing, I'll need a strong place that doesn't have eyes on it." She puts her hand on her chin and ponders. "So, what kind of training will you be doing?" I tilt my head to the side. "Since it will be done here, you'll find out, so I'm going to fight Mahoraga to gain experience against strong opponents and refine my skills." Her eyes widen, and her mouth drops. "The Divine General Mahoraga? Are you insane?" I give her a closed-eye smile. "Yes, and yes. I'm at the point where I can comfortably fight it, so I would like an area where I can go all out." Surprisingly, Tungen facepalms. "I have so many questions that I don't even want to start. Using the Divine General as training is something that has never been heard of. As someone who has seen its full power, if it gets loose by a 10 Shadows user, I'll have one of the most dangerous beings to exist in my home." I smile. "The new 10 Shadows user hasn't tamed it, so we can repeatedly use the ritual, and even on the off chance that I die, the ritual will end." She pauses. Then, she stands up and narrows her eyes at me. "One time. If you show yourself capable, I'll allow you to use the empty barrier for training. However, I must check the 10 Shadows user and make preparations in case of something going wrong." I give her a wide smile. "Thanks a ton. I'll bring the little punk here tomorrow. How long will you need for preparations?" She gives me a deadpan stare before sighing. "You don't even look concerned to fight it. You have no idea what you are getting yourself into. I'll need a week to set up something strong enough to hold it. Its adaptation is an issue, but with a few tricks, you can overcome it." That gets me to raise an eyebrow. "Tricks?" "In any case, I know exactly what I am going up against, and I'll be ready for it." Tungen closes her eyes. "I hope you do. Bring the 10 Shadows user to me tomorrow to meet the poor soul." I give her a genuine smile. "Again, this means a lot to me, so thanks for doing this." All she does is put her hands on her sides and nod, so I get up and leave. I can't help but have a large smirk on my face as I leave the tombs. Training room and Mahoraga. Get. Now hero, I go over everything I discussed with Tungen and Megumi. "So that's the rundown." He looked concerned. "I understand it, but what was that about getting my head punched off?" Widening my eyes, I snap them to Shoko, who avoids my gaze before standing up. "It's getting late, so I'm heading back." Snitch. She starts to shuffle out of the Zenin compound. I rub my forehead. "Mahoraga's first instinct is going to be to kill you to end the ritual, so I'm going to have you hide behind Tingen's barrier so we can avoid getting your head punched off." He sighed and sat down. "Why do you even want to do this? Why do you need to fight Mahoraga if there's a good chance that things can go horribly wrong?" I look to the sky and lie back down. I've hit a bottleneck. While I could fight Gojo repeatedly, I already know his whole shtick. Mahoraga works with adaptation, so he can counter my abilities in countless ways, which can give me a massive idea on how to improve techniques and hone them to a high level. Fire, my only weakness at this point. I'm still not an anti-Sukuna monster if I can't be immune to everything he's got. At this point, even someone like Jogo could damage me. Obviously, he isn't going to one-shot me since some of my other adaptations help mitigate damage, but without high-level fire-based adaptations, a fire arrow will hurt bad. Jogo isn't my match in terms of speed and raw output, so while winning would be easy if I went all out, he has the potential to heavily damage me if using his high-level techniques like Maxima Meteor. So, I'm going to use Jogo. As soon as I realize he is born, he will be my fire adaptation generator. I'd also like to see if I can get Mahoraga to use fire on me if he can somehow use it. The problem is if Sukuna gets incarnated before that happens. I want to prevent him from incarnating, but I've got no leads on Kenjaku, and he definitely has multiple plans to get the King of Curses to incarnate. Paying a visit to Yuji wouldn't be a bad option. Megumi speaks up. What's the point if you're already the strongest? I smile. You like asking questions, huh? He stares at the sky. Yeah, I just don't get you. I huff a laugh. You wouldn't be the first. I want to get stronger because I want to reach the point where nobody can even put a finger on me. I hate weakness, so I'm turning you into an accomplished Mun rather than a potential Mun. Megumi nods with a neutral face. I continue. In any case, I'll still need to introduce Tengen to you. The old lady needs to see you before allowing you to summon Mahoraga. Be ready tomorrow morning. Not waiting for a response, I stand up and stretch before walking back to my room. The next morning, Megumi and I head to the Tombs of the Star. Since she is expecting us, we walk through the main entrance in the open instead of sneaking in. After entering the tombs, Tengen is seen sitting at her familiar table. I can't help but smile when I think about her in a Sukuna situation. If anyone visits, she sits down at the table just like Sukuna got on the throne every time Yuji entered his inner domain. Megumi whispered to me. That's the old lady that you talked about? I loudly whisper back to him. She's over 1,000 years old. His eyes widened, but he didn't say anything else. Tengen spoke up. So you're the new 10 Shadows Curse technique holder. Megumi sweats before doing a 90-degree bow. It's an honor, Master Tengen. I wish I had a camera on me. This would be great blackmail. Tengen nodded. No need to be formal with me when we will work together for a while. I raise an eyebrow. Will? Did you already make your assessment about him? She immediately replied. He's a child, clearly nervous to speak to me, and respectful. I know he poses no immediate threat to my life. Watch it, Tengen. Make sure he doesn't stub his toe in here. I smirk before ruffling Megumi's hair. So, Tengen, how is the barrier coming along? Tengen pondered. It's coming along well. Now that you both are here, let's move to the empty barrier to discuss the specifics. I also thought that you could stay here the entire time I work on the barrier so you can get used to it. I nod. Sounds great. Let me message Naoya, Shoko, and Gojo so they don't think I left again. Megumi spoke up. You have the tendency to do that. Instead of getting mad, I smile. I don't want to hear it from you. You have your own tendencies that I'm going to prevent. He looked confused, but it was only natural since he hadn't tried to use Mahoraga 100 times at this point. Mini training arc, incoming. 5 days later nothing too special happened. Megumi mostly did his physical training while I was thinking about various scenarios and preparing to face Mahoraga. This will be my first time fighting him, so I want to be ready for anything he's got for me. I could always one-shot him with one of my maximum techniques, but that won't help me learn. I waved Megumi over. Let's do this thing, potential Mun. He narrowed his eyes. I have a chance of dying, and you still won't call me by my name. I smile. Well, if you end up dying, I might as well call you by your true name one last time. He starts to sweat as Tengen leaves the room. Now, only Megumi and I remain in the empty barrier. Megumi's hands shake as he moves them out in a particular motion, one that his other self is very familiar with. He takes a deep breath. With this treasure, I summon. 8-handled sword Divergent Sila Divine General Mahoraga. My smile widened to unimaginable heights as divine dogs came out to greet the divine general. Megumi, run. Not needing to talk back, he makes a beeline towards the barrier exit as he doesn't want to be anywhere near this thing. A giant cocoon shows itself as its mouth cracks open. Let's wake him up with a bang. Running towards the cocoon, I jump before shooting myself at it. I smash my foot straight through the cocoon shell. Black flash. Wakey wakey, Mahoraga-chan. Sending the cocoon flying, it smashes into the wall, creating a dust cloud before I hear a loud noise. Clank. One spin for black flash. Not completely adapted just yet, but starting the process. The dust clears to an 11-foot-tall familiar behemoth with a Dharma chakra wheel above his head. I have a massive smirk on my face. Man, you look much different than I expected. He has his own smirk. Then, he jumps at me. Now hero boom. Using his momentum, he throws a punch that I catch with my right hand. Heavy. I have a smile on my face as he uses his other hand to swing the sword of extermination at me. I would dodge if it weren't for the fact that... Snap. Crash. It makes contact with my body, but the entire blade shatters on contact. Too bad I'm not a curse, bozo. My foot sparkles black. I kick him in the stomach. Black flash. Saliva comes out of his mouth as he flies towards the edge of the room, creating another dust cloud. Clank. That's two. It's crazy. With a full power black flash kick, I couldn't put him down. He is adapting to my techniques, but even so, I can't help but have a wicked smile on my face. Just then, a piece of debris comes flying in my direction. Swatting it out of the way, the behemoth comes from above me to slam me with his foot, but I jump backward. Boom. After landing, I boost myself towards him and put my palm on his face before freezing it. Curse technique reversal, shatter. Thanks, Urom. He swipes his arms and flings me off of him, but I land on the wall with my feet. Clank. The ice slowly starts to melt, and he rushes at me. However, I jump off the wall and meet Mahoraga in the middle before activating it again. Curse technique reversal, shatter. It does noticeably less than before as he slows down. Clank. Normally, using the same attack on Mahoraga would be stupid. However, I'm testing a theory. Then, his body temperature starts to shoot up, nearly instantly melting the cursed energy amplified ice. He throws a haymaker at me, which I catch with my hands. My arms start to burn. Sizzle. Sizzle. Clink. I smile. Let's abuse my cursed energy pool. My output shoots up as my hands push back his while rapidly healing. Instead of pushing back his hands all the way, I land my foot on his stomach. Curse technique reversal maximum output, shatter. Ice spears through his body, and he falls backward. Clank. The ice melts as his body temperature skyrockets again, making Mahoraga's white body glow red as he jumps back up. Clink. I laugh like a maniac. That's it, Mahagara, become my fire training dummy. Even while my skin burns off, I have a grin that would make anyone question my sanity. But I don't care. I'm going to make sure nobody will be able to lay a finger on me. Even if they have a random curse technique that I've never heard of, I will ensure that nothing will be my weakness. He throws his body at me as he wildly tries to hit me, but he receives a right hook to the face. Bam. Clink. I look at my hand to see it charred with bone showing. Nothing a little reverse curse technique can't fix. Mahoraga uses the momentum from my punch to spin around and send a backhanded fist at my head. Blocking it with my right arm, I notice my arm melting. Clink. It stops burning and rapidly heals back up. Then, I grab his face and proceed to run around, slam-dragging him on the floor before I throw him at the walls. Boom. Instead of waiting for him, I reach back, grab the soul splitter, and swing it in his direction. Curse technique reversal, soul scythe. Slash. A massive slash appears, and I hear audible contact. Clank. I didn't use the maximum or amplified version, which removed the spatial aspect, because I wanted to test whether Shikigami had souls. The soul splitter seemed not to do too much damage to Shikigami as it should have, so I sheathed it on my back. Now, then, I guess it's time to end this. A wild Mahoraga shoots himself out of the dust cloud in an attempt to grab me. However, I have different plans. I shoot towards him and meet him in the middle. He tries to grab me but misses before I land a fist on his stomach. Curse technique amplification, maximum black rupture. Boom. Blood and chunks go flying out of his back, and an explosive sound goes off. This is my personal technique. By combining a plethora of physical adaptations and black flash, I can send a shockwave through a target on contact. After making contact with something, rupture shoots a shockwave of heavy force when amplified with cursed energy, blasting through instead of dealing direct physical damage, allowing for internal and external damage. So, while the front of his body looks fine, the internals and back get destroyed. And the maximum version does a lot of damage. He's done. While the shell of his body looks fairly intact, all of his internals are completely gone and destroyed. At this point, the only part of his body that remains is the outer layer of his skin. Then, the parts of his body and skin start to disintegrate. The wheel that was once above his head comes rolling towards me before bumping into me and falling over. I laugh and fall on my back. Ha ha ha. Man, that was so much fun. He even gave me a souvenir. Grabbing the wheel and holding it above me, I cover the ceiling from view. Suddenly, the wheel starts to crumble. No. My wheel. Lying back, I am disappointed for a few seconds before snapping back to normal. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. Mahoraga, what a damn monster. While I internally celebrate, I hear someone speak. I never thought I would see the day where the Divine General would be defeated. Opening my eyes, I see Tengen with more emotion on her face than usual. Megumi walks over to me and bows before staring at me like I'm not human. I would like to formally apologize for my behavior. I give him a closed-eye smile, still lying on my back. Don't worry, potential man, we will get you strong enough to defeat that thing. He sits down next to me before having hollowed-out eyes, staring at nothing. I'll need to tell Tsumiki that I'm sorry that I won't be able to grow up with her. I raised an eyebrow. You sound like a cliché kid who promised to get married to someone when you get older. His face reddened as his eyes returned to normal. What are you implying? She's my sister. My smile widens. That's exactly why it's creepy. Megumi curls up in a ball and grabs his hair, hiding his embarrassed face. Tengen spoke up. Now that this whole ordeal is over, I recommend seeing everyone since you've been here for over a week. We can discuss the future next time we meet. My smile turns into a smirk. Kicking me out? She gives me a deadpan stare. Yes. Fair enough. Kenjaku Yuram is dead. One of my greatest allies is dead. Now Hero Zenin, the most unpredictable variable to ever exist. The variable that shouldn't exist. To say my plans have been scrambled is an understatement. The original plan was to make Yuji the vessel and keep now Hero Zenin around as insurance, but now he has grown too fast and too strong. He ate one of Sukuna's fingers, so why is he not showing side effects? Even if he adapted to the cursed energy of the finger, Sukuna's soul is unlike any other. My eyes widen. Unless he adapted to the cursed energy and the soul. That should be impossible, given how cursed techniques function. Every cursed technique is imprinted on the soul, so no matter how much he adapts to the cursed energy, the soul should remain. It should be impossible, but what if his adaptability isn't a cursed technique? It looks like my hypothesis ended up being true. It was astronomically unlikely, but given his status as an anomaly, the world's rules shouldn't be taken into account with him. He is, quite literally, the human divine General Mahoraga, adapting to any and all phenomena. No wonder he was able to escape the prison realm. He adapted to it. Is the reason why he is an anomaly because he is a reincarnation of Mahoraga? That should also be impossible since there is an active 10 Shadows user. The 10 Shadows. Can I use Mahoraga somehow? If Now Hero truly has the same adaptation as Mahoraga, using him would give me a way to counter his abilities. He'd most likely defeat it if it were in its ritual form, but it can be an unstoppable beast when used correctly and tamed. The issue lies in taming such a beast. 10 Shadows users have never done it because it wasn't meant to be tamed. The resources the technique grants don't allow the user to tame such a ridiculous beast. But, what if he is used as a vessel? Someone like Sukuna could easily tame it if he had the vessel of the 10 Shadows user. Megumi Fushiguro, the current wielder of the Ten Shadows Curse technique. He's related to Tsumiki Fushiguro. What an interesting twist of fate. I was going to make her that crazy woman's vessel. There is a near 0% chance that he is a compatible vessel, but what if he is? In any case, now Hero Zenin needs to be occupied for the next few years while Yuji grows capable of handling Sukuna's soul. The only other possible known vessel is now Hero, and I can't go around feeding random people Sukuna's fingers. Checking on Megumi Fushiguro will be added to my list. Time has never been an issue for me before now. Why can't the brat be ready for Sukuna? I hear the front door open. Hi, Mom, I'm back home. Turning to the hallway, I gave him a fake smile. Welcome back. How was school? The vessel replies. Ugh. I have a lot of homework. I huff a laugh with a closed-eye smile. That's so. Originally, I was going to let him develop by himself, but circumstances changed. I must ensure that nothing happens to the vessel until he becomes compatible. Acting like a mother is so tiring. Right now, Sukuna is the only person who can defeat Nao Hero, and even then, he'll need to be close to his full strength. 17 fingers and his corpse have been collected. Unfortunately, Nao Hero Zenin has already eaten one of them. Now, then, how can I keep him occupied while the vessel develops? The culling game still needs time since I don't currently have a vessel for every future participant. Should I kill Nao Hero's friends? No, if there is a chance he catches my cursed energy, he'll be able to track me, but since he hasn't come for me now, there are limitations to his tracking. When we met for the second time, he said that he recognized my cursed energy. Was it a lie, or were there other conditions involved? He has the prison realm and has already adapted to sealing, so I can't seal him again. Seeing the shut-in and discussing Nao Hero with her might be a valid option. Even if she acts as if she likes Nao Hero Zenin, an anomaly that shouldn't exist will be on her mind constantly. I wouldn't be surprised if she planned to create a powerful barrier to keep him in check. She is the only one in the world who could contain something like Nao Hero Zenin. What to do? So many questions and no answers. I hate it. I hate him. Why does he have to exist? He is ruining everything. I didn't plan for 1,000 years to have a teenager ruin it at the last moment. I want to rip him apart with my own hands. Someone tugs on my shirt. Mom, are you all right? Your face is scary. Immediately, I fixed my face and smiled. I'm sorry, Yuji. I was thinking about something unpleasant. Now, let's work on that homework you brought home. He gave me a bright smile. All right. Thanks, Mom. I'll do whatever it takes to see the truth behind cursed energy. Tengen, he's strong. I don't hate him. From what he's shown, his actions towards Jujutsu society are not hostile, and he is genuinely enjoyable to talk to. However, he is an unknown variable in this world who needs to be kept in check if something happens. Part of me wishes Mahoraga killed him, but another makes me wish to support his endeavors. I kicked him out to create a countermeasure for him after showcasing his abilities. Deciding what to do is difficult when it makes me seem like a terrible person, but realistically, there's no predicting what he can do to the world, and balance is necessary. I never plan on using it, but if he gets too far out of line, I'll keep him in one of the most complex barriers that I will ever make. Flopping backward, I cover my eyes with my arm. What am I supposed to do? Am I doing the right thing? Unfortunately, I won't know because Nao Hero Zenin exists. Nao Hero, well, that certainly was an experience. Who knew that fighting Mahoraga would be so much fun? Originally, I thought it would be an I adapt to your adaptation of my adaptation kind of fight, but it makes sense that it only worked with abilities being used. It's still a funny thought. Anyway, I gained a ton during my fight. Mahoraga reached such a high body temperature that I could evolve my fire resistance. He is the strongest person I have faced so far in terms of raw physicals. My thoughts get broken when I arrive back at the compound. As I suspected, someone was waiting for me. Specifically a non-misogynistic 18-year-old. He leans against the wall. Well, you came back this time. Surprised you brought Megumi back alive. I smile. I told you I wouldn't return for a week. He gives me a deadpan stare. A week can turn into years when it comes to you. I rub the back of my head. I'm trying to fix it. He huffs a laugh. Anyway, Shoko stopped by. She wanted to ensure you were alive. I asked her if she wanted to help with the other kids' training, but she declined. I pondered for a moment. I told her I'd be gone for a week. I'll try talking her into helping you guys out when Potentialman is in training. He raised an eyebrow and turned his head to Megumi. Speaking of Megumi, isn't he a little? Turning to my left, I see Megumi with a formal posture, looking straight ahead and keeping his mouth shut. I smirk. Little what? Megumi turns to Naoya. I now understand. Naoya laughs. PFT. What the hell did you do to the kid? I shrug. I showed him the difference between heaven and earth. Young Grasshopper wasn't familiar with my game. Naoya shakes his head. I'm not even going to ask what you mean by that, but it looks like everything went well. Megumi spoke up. How is Tsumiki? He raises an eyebrow. It's only been a week. School and hovering around the compound. She should still be in school now. Megumi's eyes widened. I missed school. Naoya came over and ruffled his hair, which Megumi wasn't pleased with. You aren't going to school, you goof. Tsumiki wanted to go, so we kept her enrolled. You'll learn here. Megumi's face turned serious. Enroll me back into school. Naoya had a visible look of disgust on his face. Kid, what is it with you? I smile and add fuel to the fire. Couldn't stop thinking about her while we were training too. His face reddened as he tried to defend himself. Stop it. I'm trying to keep her safe since she's my only family. Naoya looked at him like he was stupid. You do know that everyone in this clan is your family, right? Your father left the clan, which makes you related to us. Now Hiro and I are your distant cousins. His eyes widened again as I spoke up. Did you really think Gojo put you in a clan of random, unrelated people? Megumi reddened even more as he stomped back into the compound. I smiled. Why is it fun messing with a 7-year-old? Naoya replies while smiling at the retreating Megumi. For once in my life, I agree with you. I huff a laugh. He is so serious all the time that messing with him makes him open up more. Talking to him is almost impossible without getting a type of reaction. His face turns back to normal. Though I've got to ask. Why are you so hard on him? You're moving him too fast. I know a thing or two about training people, and you're acting like he could be thrown into a war the next day. I look at the sky. He will not waste his potential as long as I am alive, and he is technically my training buddy. He has a dumbfounded look on his face. What can the kid help you of all people with? If he's your training buddy, then I pray for his life. I smile. I said technically. I'm not going around beating up children, although Toji had a track record with that. He narrows his eyes a tad. Is it because of Toji? I laugh. Gojo and I destroyed the homeless bum. No, it's because he is a walking ball of potential with a nuke attached to him. Naoya nodded. I don't fully get it, but I will head back inside. Even if it doesn't look like it, I'm a pretty busy guy. With that, we both walked back into the compound. 4 hours later, someone slams on my door. Bam. Bam. Opening up the door, I see Megumi with an extremely worried expression on his face. I tilt my head in irritation. What's up? Don't slam on my door if you want to keep your hand. However, he doesn't care. Tsumiki hasn't returned from school, and it's been 2 hours since school ended. She always comes back before then. My eyes widen. Damn it. Pushing past him, I sprint toward Naoya's room. Slide. I slide open the door to Naoya's room. Where is Tsumiki? He looks irritated but responds. What is this about? I run over and grab his shoulders. Where is Tsumiki Fushiguro? Megumi said she hasn't come back from school. He raises an eyebrow. Isn't it normal for kids to stay later after school? Also, people from the clan have been assigned to watch over her if anyone tries to pull something. I narrow my eyes and release cursed energy. Where? Naoya shrugs. Saitama Uremi East Junior High. Geez, I'll call them up if it will get you to stop freaking out. Running out of the clan compound, I head towards the school. Please don't repeat the ghetto situation. I couldn't save him, so please let her be okay. Kenjaku POV. Uram was a terrible loss, and I didn't want to have to rush my plans. Thankfully, binding vows have been twisted due to my technique, allowing me to switch bodies, so while incarnation is a part of the deal, the culling games can wait. Time to wake up. Yorozu. Now hero after going to the school, I noticed some random teacher standing outside, most likely a gym teacher, monitoring, so I walked up to them. Calming down so I don't come off as a creep, I speak up. Excuse me. He raised an eyebrow. Can I help you? I asked him, my name is Naohiro Zenin. I am one of Tsumiki Fushigiro's family members, but she hasn't returned. Do you know where she is? That got him to straighten up with a serious face. I'm unfamiliar with every student that goes here, so can you wait here while I get someone who knows her? I nod. Sure. I grit my teeth. Damn it, it makes sense. If Uram is dead, what better person to bring back than Yorozu? I don't know how helpful she will be to Kenjaku, but please be all right. While I wait, I pull out my phone. Ring. Ring. A loud voice picks up. Hey, man. Been a minute. What's up? I talk seriously. I'm going to get straight to the point. It is highly likely Kenjaku kidnapped Tsumiki Fushiguro. That turns off his cheery tone. Kenjaku, why would he go after Tsumiki? I immediately reply. She is a compatible vessel for a cursed object. Gojo's tone is flat. What kind of cursed object, and how do you know this? I keep my tone. The kind that can get a lot of people killed if she incarnates a sorcerer. I talked to Kenjaku a while back, and he is trying to incarnate a ton of sorcerers from the past. Turns out, Tsumiki is a perfect vessel for a past sorcerer, so that's why I said highly likely. He loudly spoke. You didn't think to bring this up before. I sigh. You're right. I should have brought it up, but this isn't the time to argue. She is missing. If someone incarnates, I'll need to deal with it. I could hear his surprise. You don't mean... It clicked with me how it sounded. No, I'm not going to kill a kid. If I can get my hands on an incarnated sorcerer, I can split them with soul manipulation. He sighed. Since when can you do that? Anyway, where are you? Turning my head towards the school, I speak up. Saitama Uremi East Junior High. I hear a clap, and then the line goes silent. Smirking, I put my phone away. Teleportation is really convenient, isn't it? Gojo smiles. Sure is. Clap and boom, I'm there. My face turns serious again. I just hope she's all right, and I'm overreacting. He raises an eyebrow. Knowing you, you're probably right about this whole thing. A man in a semi-formal suit walks up to us. Now Hero Zenin, right? I nod my head. We are worried about where she might be. He raises an eyebrow. And who is this? I resist the urge to sigh, but Gojo speaks up. I'm Gojo, and I am friends with him. He nods. Well, you come up as part of the Zenin family. Apologies, we need to run checks on any suspicious behavior. In any case, bodyguards from the family pick her up at 3:30 p.m. daily, and Tsumiki isn't enrolled in any extracurricular activities, so as far as we know, she left to go home. I return a nod. I get it. So was she picked up? He responds, yes, there were circumstances that required us to note whether she had been picked up or not. I thank them. Thanks. All right, we know the general direction of where she went. He looks concerned. I hope you find her. We'll file a missing persons report. Call the school if you find her so we can remove it. With that, I walk away and turn to Gojo. Unfortunately, her reserves were way too weak for me to be able to track her, which is why I brought you, Mr. Thick Size. You've interacted with her, so is it possible to pinpoint her location with them? He rubs his forehead. That's not how it works, but I can try. Then, He floats high into the sky so no one can see him. He tries to pinpoint her location. Why did this have to happen? I didn't think Kenjaku would go after a 9-year-old. Doesn't he need to wait for the culling games to bring people back? Can she even be used as a vessel at this age? Yorozu isn't Sukuna, so she can most likely be used as a vessel instead of being forced to wait with Yuji. The reason I'm here is to prevent shit like this from happening. Please be alright. Kenjaku plugging my ears, a woman screams. I can sense him, Sukuna-sama. I sigh. What you are sensing are his fingers. She spoke up in confusion. If his fingers are here, where is Sukuna-sama? I feel a headache coming. He hasn't incarnated yet. The room gets colder. What? You promised to incarnate me alongside my future husband. I tilt my head to the side. Well, circumstances required me to wake you early. He will awaken in the next couple of years. She gave a wide smile as her breath hastened. That's so. I narrow my eyes. Yuram is dead, and someone named Naohiro Zenin is responsible for her death and is trying to prevent Sukuna's revival. Cursed energy exploded. That is Sukuna-sama to you, Naohiro Zenin, huh? I smile. Also, how do you think he would feel if you helped incarnate him? Her eyes turned wild with lust. I'll make his cold heart learn what love is like. He might even reward me. If Yuram is dead, someone else must cook his meals for him. For our wedding, we'll kill at least 200 people together. Then, we'll have a nightly celebration. My body recoiled in disgust. What is it with this woman? She tilted her head to the side. Why am I in the body of a child? I rubbed my forehead. This is your vessel, and as I said, there was a need to rush plans. You will have access to all of your abilities but be slightly weaker physically due to the vessel's age. You cannot fully incarnate yet, so you must wait a few more years. She scowled and had a murderous look on her face. Don't even think about showing Sukuna-sama this body. If he incarnates and I'm still unable to show my body to him, then I'll kill you. I gave her a small smile. Of course. Turning her murderous face away from me, her cursed energy rises again. Naohiro Zenin, huh? I'll tear you apart for wanting to prevent my future husband from being with me. How do I tell her, Yorozu, about that? Her hostility goes away as she looks at me. I sigh again. He is too strong for the time being, so Sukuna-sama will have to deal with him. She scoffs and crosses her arms. Well, I'll have to wait until I regain my strength. I'll have to see him for myself. Why did I bring her back when she is just going to get herself killed? Naohiro, of course, pinpointing a presence as weak as Tsumaki would be near impossible, especially since Kenjaku is the one behind it. He isn't stupid. Since he knows that I have some tracking ability, he would have countermeasures since Tsumaki is related to the Zenin. With how it's looking, Gojo isn't going to be able to find her either. Damn it. I got too comfortable. Ever since I got out of the box, I have felt invincible. While I had gotten stronger, I forgot the important things that I needed to keep track of. Without Yuram, Sukuna's revival could be halted, but with a fanatic like Yorozu working with him, he could start to make more aggressive moves. Tsumaki is only 9 right now, so there are going to be complications with her vessel. My eyes widened, and I mumbled. The bath. I looked up and yelled at Gojo. Satoru, I might know where they're going. The bath can't be prepared extremely quickly, so Yuram made the necessary preparations early. Yorozu and Kenjaku might show up to get a better hold of her body. Gojo floats down. Nothing, where is it? I snap out of my thoughts. Yuram was making a ritual for Sukuna called the bath. It is supposed to help gain better control of vessels. If Kenjaku incarnated a sorcerer in her body, then they will most likely go there. He tilts his head to the side. Do you know where a bath is? I smirk. I stumbled upon one when ripping apart Yuram. Gojo pondered for a moment. All right, you lead the way. Any idea what kind of sorcerer he brought back? I sigh. Most likely one infatuated with Sukuna to help Kenjaku revive him. Yorozu is the definition of a yandere. Arguably more of a freak than Uram. Even if they aren't going to Uram's ritual site, it'll be a good idea to show it to Gojo in case another incarnated sorcerer needs better control over their vessel. After returning to the ritual site, we walk through the front door. Where Uram once was, the tile still has red stains. In the middle of the room lies a black pool of poison, cursed spirits, and cursed energy. Looking over to Gojo, his eyes widened. What kind of joke of a bath is that? I huff a laugh. One that isn't meant for recreation. Just then, a hand pops out of the bath, and a voice screams out. Help me! Gojo's eyes widened, and he started to move, but I held him back. Tsumiki. I went to the bath and sat a few feet away, not saying a word. A face popped above the bath, and the voice spoke up again. Now hero, Gojo, please. My eyes narrowed. Get out. We have a few questions for you, sorcerer. The panic in the voice all but left as she got up and started walking up the stairs. I thought that I could do the whole saving me and then I come back to live with you type of thing, but plans don't turn out. I raised an eyebrow. You seem oddly calm. Tsumiki's smile widened. Well, of course I am. I just regained nearly my full strength. Gojo spoke up with an unreadable expression. Question 1, got a name? She walked over to a towel and started drying herself off. I would say Tsumiki Fushiguro, but that's no fun. I'm already irritated as is with this body I was given. She stuck her tongue out and smiled. I'm Yorozu. Now, then, I have a question for you too. How did you know about me? It seems oddly convenient that you knew Kenjaku incarnated a sorcerer. He said that you know a lot of things you shouldn't. I crossed my arms. Uram is quite the talker when you push her buttons the right way. She put on some white clothes before pondering. How much did she tell you anyway? Uram wasn't a talker last time I met her. I give her a closed-eye smile as I point to the red smears on the tile. She huffs a laugh. So that's why they are here and how you knew where this place was. Still, I didn't expect Uram to talk, even when tortured. I smile. I'm good with my hands. She leans back on the wall. That's so. Then, I uncross my arms. Let me ask you one last thing. She tilts her head to the side. What? I smirk. You think you're getting out of here alive? I'm shocked Kenjaku didn't warn you about us. She put her finger on her chin. Well, he did, but that guy is paranoid about everything. In addition, I wanted to meet you face to face to see the one who killed Uram. Gojo whispers to me. Whisper. Why do I feel like I don't belong here? I laugh. You aren't as involved as I am, so being here can get you into the loop more. Yorozu spoke up. Well, since I got incarnated, Kenjaku wanted to send me to the bath, and now that you guys are here, he probably wants me to be a distraction on the off chance that you two show up. I stretch my arms. Welp, it's a pretty shitty distraction if he put you in charge of it. Veins started to form on the side of her face. I would have liked to chat longer, but every second I talk to you makes me want to throw up. You are standing in the way of me and my lover. Getting rid of you will make my future husband happy. Gojo spoke up again. Ugh. Can you at least tell us where Kenjaku is before you die? Liquid metal instantly shot up straight towards Gojo's head, but he smiled as it slowed down. Kenjaku didn't tell you anything about us? She scowled as white armor started forming around her body. He didn't need to. Wow, she is stupid. Gojo turns towards me. Well, you're the soul manipulation dude. Fix her. Yorozu has a wicked smile. If I can't hit you, then I'll make it so I can. Domain expansion, threefold affle dash. Gojo walks over to me and grabs my shoulder before crossing his fingers. Domain expansion, unlimited void. Whoosh. A space-like structure encases the three of us. Clink. I didn't need that right now, but it's still funny. I was curious to see how her whole technique worked. Although it was good that it was ended before she pulled out some random technique that hasn't been seen since the Heian era. Clink. His glasses were already off, but he smiled. Well, I thought I would end it because, being me, you deal with these types of crazies all the time. Anyways. We both turned to Yorozu to see her with her hands together with an absent look on her face. I look around our environment. This is your domain, huh? He nods. Unlimited void. It's pretty good if you want to keep people in place as long as they aren't touching me. Clink. Damn it, I feel bad. I adapted to it, but I don't want to throw it in his face, so I'll play along for now. I return the nod. In any case, I'll punch the sorcerer out of her since she won't give us anything, and I'd rather not torture Tsumiki's body. However, Gojo pokes her face and giggles at her like a child. Where is your hubby now? Ever so slightly, you could tell she was pissed, even with a frozen body. I poke her face, too. Men, this is fun, right? Need to get Tsumiki out. Now, then, curse technique reversal, soul suck. Then, Tsumiki gets a black flash to the stomach with a ghostly aura surrounding it. Bam. Gojo raises an eyebrow. What kinda technique name is that? I shrug. Couldn't think of anything good to call it. Gojo uncrosses his fingers, and the domain shatters. However, something unusual happened. A person flew out of Tsumiki's body. One that I was familiar with. So that is your real form. Tsumiki falls over, but I catch her before she faceplants into the ground. Yorozu lands on her hands but is heavy breathing before. Blah. She threw up blood. Like, a lot of blood. Being forcefully removed from a vessel that wasn't 100% merged with you is not a thing that you want to experience. I walk over to finish the job, but she speaks up. Huff. Huff. You think you're tough shit? Sukuna-sama will gut you. I smile. It's interesting you say that because Yuram said the same thing. She scowled. I'm only the distraction, you punk. You think Kenjaku has been sitting on his but while you guys are here. I notice her cursed energy start to rise. My eyes narrow. What is he planning? She gives a wicked smile. Nothing that you'll be worrying about. See ya in hell, kid. Maximum, true sphere. Then, she starts to disintegrate as a black orb forms rapidly. Instead of panicking, I put my hands on the orb and smile as my hand starts melting. Clink. While not fire-based, it generates a near-infinite pressure, making adapting to it amazing. Clink. My stubs for hands can now hold onto the ball of liquid metal. Clink. Turning to Gojo, I see him on his phone, taking a selfie with Tsumiki on his shoulder. Thankfully, she kept the clothes that Yorozu put on. I give him a deadpan stare, but he shrugs his non-Tsumiki shoulder. What? Turning my head to the massive cursed energy ball, I sigh. Well, that is one thing down. Now that she is out of the way and Tsumiki is safe, I will need to do a couple of things. Tungen, it's finally done. Nao Hero showed adaptive traits similar to Mahoraga in their fight, so I used the current barrier as a base to develop further than what was made to contain the Divine General. Barrier that constantly shifts traits will render any form of adaptation useless as long as it is kept stable. He escaped the prison realm, the most complex sealing object in existence, so I went above and beyond. His adaptation technique is likely stronger than Mahoraga's, so I have even more countermeasures, even with the barrier created. Even someone like Ryaman Sukuna wouldn't be able to escape. Even if he somehow had the adaptation of Mahoraga, the shifting barrier would keep him in place. The main issue is that the barrier is so complex that I must constantly monitor the structure. I have enough to worry about, and I'd rather not have to constantly monitor a prison-like structure. Balance. The balance ideology has been on my mind for longer than I can remember. I never had to do something as drastic as this. It makes me feel like Kenjaku. A master of barrier techniques and complex planning, and a desire to evolve. While I don't necessarily want to evolve, I hate feeling this way. However, I still can't decide. My eyes widen. What? Someone is entering my barrier, but they are trying to hide their presence. I wouldn't have sensed them if I hadn't been focusing. I'll need to call someone before they get here. Ding. The elevator dings and a woman walks toward me with a smile. My eyes narrow. Those stitches. She smiles. It's been a while, you shut in. My eyes narrow further. Kenjaku. As I prepare to send a signal, she, or rather Kenjaku, speaks up. Now Hiro Zenin. I pause. He raises his hands in a mock surrender and smiles. I'm not here to fight. I want to talk to you. I scowl. There is nothing to discuss. He smirks. Then why haven't you sent a distress signal? It's not like Satoru Gojo and now Hiro Zenin are close enough to stop me from doing things to you. I cross my arms as he walks over and sits down across from me. What do you want? He rests his head on his hand. The same thing you do. To keep the balance of the world in check. You see, now Hiro Zenin has been a thorn in my side. My face turns neutral. Then why do you think I'll help you? He huffs a laugh. Don't act like you want to keep him in the picture. He shouldn't exist. The ultimate anomaly. The laws of the world do not bind the mun. He's unpredictable and can cause havoc for you and me. I ponder while he continues. I know you and I don't see eye to eye, but he is better gone than free to roam around, so I want to work together with you. My hair falls down on my face as I tilt my head down. What do you get out of all of this? He gives me a closed-eye smile. Predictability. I hate not knowing things, and I saw what you made on my way here. Something that I couldn't even fathom creating. You created a barrier capable of sealing the anomaly. I look back up and narrow my eyes at him. I dislike you to the point where it would be better for you not to exist. He shrugs and sticks his tongue out. Ouch. I continue. However, he is a problem that needs solving. He smirks. What's the deal? Now Hiro whoosh. Gojo ended up being nice enough to teleport us back to the Zenin compound. Then, he cups his mouth. Megumi, your creepy crew's sister is back. Not even a few seconds later, Megumi comes sprinting around the corner. He puts his hands on his knees as he exhales. Huff. Huff. Is she alright? Gojo smirks as he nudges me. If getting a black flash to the stomach is alright, then yeah, she's great. His eyes widen in horror. I try to bonk Gojo, but he teleports a few feet away from me and sticks his tongue out at me while tilting his glasses down. Groaning, I explain myself after shooting Gojo a glare. A past sorcerer possessed Tsumiki, so I had to force the sorcerer out of her. She is completely fine. He falls on his back. Thank God. Naoya peeks his head around the corner. Hey, you came back. I raise an eyebrow. I told you, I'm trying to fix it. He shrugs. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I smile, but it turns sad when I think of the past day. Stop relying on previous knowledge. Use it as a base, but I can't let something like this happen again. I look at Megumi. No matter what, Sukuna cannot possess him. Most of us walk back into the compound as Gojo teleports away. Of course, Megumi is carrying Tsumiki. A few hours later, I went to talk to Megumi. As long as Kenjaku and Sukuna are issues, I must keep him away. Slide. I slide open his door. He looks irritated. Ever heard of knocking? I walk over and sit next to him. Megumi, I need to talk to you about something. His eyes widen. Are you going to tell me about sex? I recoil. No. It's serious. Ahem. While you have the potential to become a fantastic sorcerer in the future, someone really bad is going to be gunning for you. People can use your technique to cause chaos if they get a hold of it. He lies back on his hands. You're the strongest, right? Just keep me around the compound, and nobody will think of messing with me, right? I tilt my head down. I couldn't protect Tsumiki from being kidnapped. She was a vessel. You have an entire technique that has a nuke attached to it. You are prime candidate number 1 to have your body stolen. He sits up. What are you getting at? I turn to him. I'm going to make sure that nobody can get a hold of you while there are problems. His eyes widen. What does that mean for me? I sigh. Tengen is the strongest barrier master in the world. I can guarantee your safety if she creates a specific barrier for you. He stands up. How long would it be? I rest my head on my hands. He speaks up. Well? I stand up and poke his head before he falls unconscious. I'm sorry, Megumi. You'll probably hate me, but you are the perfect vessel for Sukuna. Child or not, you must be kept safe while I kill Kenjaku. I pick him up and put him on my shoulder before heading towards the tombs of the star. Now Hiro Tungen will be able to keep Megumi safe while I deal with Kenjaku. As I am now, I'll be ready to take on a full-power Sukuna by the time he awakens. In the best-case scenario, he never awakens, but there are so many ways to revive him that I don't know if I am able to stop it. Keeping Sukuna's perfect vessel away from him is step one of many to make sure that nothing gets screwed up. After making my way back to the familiar tombs, I took the elevator back to the ground floor. Ding. Opening the door, I see another familiar 5-foot-tall young girl sitting at a table. Hey, Tengen. She raises an eyebrow. What are you doing with the boy? I walk over and sit down at the table with a smile. Nothing much, just wanting to ask you for a favor. If you could create a barrier for him, that would be nice. She crosses her arms. Why would I create a barrier for him? I rest my head on the back of my hands. Because I'll need to keep Kenjaku away from him due to his ability to summon Mahoraga. Then, I notice movement on my shoulder. Ugh. I dump him on the ground like a sack of potatoes. He rubs his head and shoots up. What the hell was all that for? I smirk. Which part? To my surprise, he moves his hands into a very particular formation. He narrows his eyes. Get me out of here. I raise my own eyebrow. Do you want me to knock you out again? He drops his hands. Damn it, why are you so? I finish his sentence with a smile. Unique. Megumi gets a tick mark on his head. Not the word I was looking for, but sure. Tengen speaks up. Megumi Fushiguro, may you wait at the entrance of the tombs? I have something urgent to discuss with Naohiro. He looks at me, and I nod. I speak up before he leaves. Don't even think about leaving before I finish my conversation, or you'll regret it. He scratches his hair. What is it with you and threatening children? I had a hard time not laughing. PFT. I learned it from someone who looks a whole lot like you. He sighs. All right, I'll wait by the entrance. I give him a closed-eye smile. Good potential, man. Megumi grumbles before stomping off towards the elevator. I turn my head to Tengen. Now, then, what do you want to talk about? Tengen stands up. Follow me. I need to show you something in your new training room, as you like to call it. I tilt my head to the side. Did I do some permanent damage or something? Rather than responding, she turned her head and glanced at me. I shrugged my shoulders. All right. Getting up, I follow Tengen back to my Mahoraga training quarters. After making our way back to the empty barrier, I stand outside. As I am about to step inside, I stop. This is strange. Just using basic context clues makes this whole thing seem suspicious. I turn around to look at Tengen, but she has her hand raised. Well, I can't say I didn't expect this. Whoosh. I get pulled inside of the barrier. Clink. A wide smile appears on my face as I lie on the ground. Tengen, you granny. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. Tengen speaks up from behind the barrier. I hope you understand. I laugh. Ha ha ha, you think I'm going to stay in here forever? Let me guess, Kenjaku is in on it. Then, I see a woman with black hair walking up from behind the barrier. Hello, it's been a... Whoosh. They get sucked inside the barrier as well. Tengen speaks. Our binding vow is a 1-year non-aggression pact to seal Naohiro Zenin. Keeping you in check is more important than him. Sealing doesn't count as aggression based on our agreement. Grab. Before he responds, I run up to Kenjaku and grab him by the throat. I have a murderous look on my face. It has been a while, and now it's time to say goodbye, bitch. However, he smiles and laughs. Ha ha ha. My eyes narrow as I pull my fist back. Curse technique reversal, soul rupture. I stop my technique as I realize something. His soul. He speaks up. You know, you've been a real thorn in my side these past few years. I throw him across the room. Boom. A dust cloud gets formed as he continues. Seems like you realized it. I speak from across the room. Your soul is way too small and is fractured. Your consciousness is here, but killing you here will do little to nothing to you. Also, if I do end up killing you, your consciousness will be transferred back to your main body. The dust clears to a mangled body. Well, the original plan was for you to kill me after Tingen ended up sealing me. I knew the shut-in would seal me alongside you, so do you really believe that I would send my real body here? I lay back against the barrier's walls. You are like a cockroach. It's a princess in another castle scenario whenever I try to kill you. Just die already. He smiles. You know, I could say the same thing about you. Somehow, you were able to escape me 7 years ago because of very special circumstances. I lean my head back onto the wall. So what, are you just going to kill yourself in here to go back while I'm sealed? He tilts his head to the side, keeping his smile. Then how would I be able to monitor you? I've made that mistake once already. Clink. I cross my arms. So you'll have your goons do your work for you while you and I are here. His body seemed to heal, so he stood up and brushed the dust off of him, walking over to me before sitting a few feet from me. He stared right into my eyes. Let me ask you something, now hero. You knew me 7 years ago, didn't you? I kept a neutral look as I rested my head back on the barrier walls. What are you yapping about? He huffs a laugh. I have an eye for things. It was strange how you reacted when we first met. Then, you react to Yurom when she met you at the Kyoto Goodwill Exchange event with a domain expansion. Someone usually wouldn't use such drastic measures on a first-year student. I have a short smile as I close my eyes. What can I say? I like my domain. It's cool. Kenjaku rests his face on his fist. It was the strangest when you were able to get in my way while I incarnated Yorozu. The bath is something few know about, and you randomly happened to stumble upon it while Yorozu was in the midst of assimilating with her vessel. Clink. My eyes open. Where are you going with this? He stared straight into my eyes. There are 3 possibilities that I have thought of regarding your existence. I raised an eyebrow, but he continued. The first is that you can tell the future. However, that doesn't seem likely since you would have been able to tell if Tsumiki Fushiguro would be kidnapped, and it still doesn't explain your anomaly status. Then, he raised his hand with 2 fingers. The second is that you are a never-before-seen addition to the world. Something that it decided to throw in to cause chaos. However, that wouldn't explain your knowledge of things you shouldn't know. He leaned forward and put up the 3rd finger. The other is that you are from some different reality or timeline in which I accomplished my goals, and you found a way to enter this reality. A wide smile appears on his face. As an anomaly. I leaned forward to stare back at him. Those are the only 3 theories you got. Clink. Kenjaku shrugs. Your existence, actions, behavior, and more all point towards a few very specific options. I'm curious what happened for you to come all the way here. Did someone you love die? The world thrown into chaos. I stretched my arms. I just want to kill you so I can live how I want to. You die, and everything gets solved. Snap. He snaps his fingers. Just like that? Everything magically goes away when I'm out of the picture. I raise my eyebrow. Hopefully, yes. Then, what appears to be a genuine smile appears on his face. You are truly fascinating. Do you want to know something? I nod. Sure, shoot. He leans closer to me. You are what I've been looking for. I've done countless experiments trying to uncover the secrets of cursed energy. You are the very definition of what I have wanted to learn about. A being unbound by anything. Your adaptation trait, cursed energy, and unbounded status are the definition of my research. I give him a smile. Men, do you like to talk? He tilts his head to the side. Why not talk when we're in here together? I sit up and stare straight at him. I'm not going to be here forever. When I leave here, I will rip you apart worse than Uram. He didn't seem bothered by my threat. I know, but by the time you can get out of here, everything will start to fall into place. Clink. Unknown. Third POV. An old voice speaks up. Now it is time, my grandchild. Then, a man in a white sweater opens up a small container and drinks the blood inside. She speaks up. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get her body, so the only thing we can bring back is her soul information, but it will work all the same. Uram, the man or grandson, started spazzing out before the head was lowered. He spoke up. How can I cook for Master Sukuna in this inferior body? I look like a peasant. My hair and features are gone. Ogami's sweat dropped. I'm here, mister. He snapped his head towards Ogami. She continued. Mrs. Uram. The grandson or Uram rubbed her new mohawk and scowled. Damn, Kenjaku. Thinking now that both of them are sealed, I'll need to keep Naohiro's adaptation in check so it doesn't become fast enough to outpace the shifting. The next thing to deal with is stalling the others. Megumi Fushiguro can be manipulated fairly easily, but complications arise when dealing with Naohiro's friends and family. Then, a muffled voice speaks up to my left. Hey, Tingen. Can you tell Naoya about my situation? I don't want him to be too pissed when I get out of here. My eye twitches, and I keep silent. He continues. I know you can hear me, Granny. Do you really think you can keep me here forever? Kenjaku's goons are out there creating more chaos than I could ever cause. If not me or Kenjaku, you are going to regret this. I ponder for a moment but decide to walk back towards the entrance. Both of the unpredictable variables are now contained. While Kenjaku's real body isn't sealed, his consciousness is. Preventing his ability to plan and cause chaos actively is a best-case scenario. People are going to hate me, but I'm fine with that outcome. My eyes widen slightly as Megumi lies sleeping next to the elevator. Walking up to him, I nudge him to wake him. His blinks before his eyes snap open. Please don't hurt me. I didn't leave YEO, sorry, Master Tingen. What did Naohiro do to this kid? I sweat drop. Ahem. Well, apologies for the delay, but I have assigned Naohiro Zenin a mission that will take quite some time, so he won't be able to accompany you back to the Zenin compound. He raises his eyebrow. Then how am I going to get back? I rub my temples. Ugh. I'll summon Satoru Gojo to have him pick you up. Megumi stands up and stretches. Are you sure everything is all right with Naohiro? I nod. Jujutsu society is complicated, so he will be gone for a while but will be fine. We both head back to the table and sit down while I contact Satoru Gojo. Uram, at least my body is around a quarter of the way back. Thankfully, I'll be able to return to normal by the time that Master Sukuna incarnates. Since the seance didn't have enough bodily material, the raw information was the only instant result. Greeting him in the state I was in before would have been the largest insult as a servant of Master Sukuna. Ogami brought me back, and she did a fantastic job of making sure that I retained my soul's information. Unfortunately, my life is tied to this old hag. If I'm back, then that means that Naohiro Zenin is occupied. Naohiro Zenin. Huff. Huff. Calm down. He's gone for the time being. The only thing that matters is getting Master Sukuna back. Emotions cannot be at the forefront of my mind. However, I never want to see him ever again. I need to focus on what is important. The vessel, Yuji Itadori. He was bred to be Master Sukuna's vessel, but there is something familiar. I followed Kenjaku to see the brat myself to get a look at the future vessel, but I saw or felt something I hadn't since the Heian era. A presence that I could never forget. So why does the brat feel like Master Sukuna if he's nothing but a vessel? He hasn't even ingested any fingers or incarnated. I'll have to take in the brat now that Kenjaku is also gone with Naohiro Zenin. I arrive at the front door of the Itadori household. Knock. Knock. The door creaks open to an elderly mun. Who are you? Splat. The elderly mun, Weisuk Itadori, looks down to see an ice spear through his chest. Blood comes out of his mouth. Bam. He falls on his face. Dead. A kid comes running around the corner. GRANDP-poke. The brat falls down, unconscious, but I grab the back of his shirt to prevent him from falling into his grandfather's blood. Can't sully Master Sukuna's vessel before he incarnates. Interesting. It looks like the one Kenjaku had procreated with is already dead. This saves me the trouble of doing it myself. I look down at the unconscious brat. Time to turn you into a proper vessel, unworthy worm. Naoya Zenin, what did I expect? Of course, he is gone again. I'm trying to fix it, my butt. Although I'll give him a small break since he is on a special mission from Master Tengen. It makes sense since he is a special grade sorcerer, but he could have said something before leaving. I wish he could see some of the kid's progress. Maki is turning into a monster. Her restriction is already shooting her physical abilities through the roof. By the time she makes it to Jujutsu High, I don't doubt that she will be one of the strongest of the next generation. Mai is doing alright but will only become a grade 1 sorcerer at her peak. Unfortunately, she didn't have the same restrictions as Maki or a large power boost. Ranta is Ranta. I'm trying to help him out, but his performance has been average. He could become a valuable member of the Hei as a grade 1, but he doesn't have the same potential as others. Speaking of potential, Megumi, or Potential Mun, as Naohiro likes to call him, has been taking his disappearance fairly badly. I'm starting to think he might be masochistic as well as a siskin. He can become a special grade sorcerer, but he must work for it. Naohiro saw something in him, so it's there, but Megumi needs to achieve it. Naohiro, please finish the mission and come back. Satoru Gojo, what did I expect? Of course, he is gone again. Tengen hadn't shared much with me, which was frustrating since why bother being so secretive about something? I already know about Kenjaku. So why isn't she telling me everything? I had my suspicions initially, but Naohiro is immune to sealing at this point. At least we have some status for him. I'll just become strong while he's gone. Maybe even the strongest. 3 months later, Naohiro playing chess with one of, if not the smartest beings in all of history can make one feel stupid. However, I won my first game. I'm now 1-965. Someone might ask, how did you win? Bam. On his last move, I punched him in the face before he could checkmate me, which made him coincidentally move a piece that allowed me to checkmate him. A voice speaks from out of the dust cloud that was made. That is very poor sportsmanship, Naohiro. I smiled. A win's a win. The dust cleared to him, smiling. That is indeed the case, isn't it? I crack my neck and stand up. Welp, I'm done with chess. So, I figured the stupid barrier out. It works similarly to infinity, however, it is slightly different in that the properties change ever so slightly. While they are similar, the number of shifts will never reach 0. Also, there is a pattern to the shifts. Tengen made their timing seem random, which threw me off, but after a few months of being here and fully focusing on the properties, I figured it out. She is a damn good barrier user. However, she missed one crucial detail about my abilities. I'm not Mahoraga. My adaptation works differently since it has multiple properties that make it suited for me instead of a behemoth like Mahoraga. While Mahoraga gains visual adaptations like gills, my body reacts as if I had gills by allowing me to breathe in water instead of showcasing a visible change. The main difference is that my adaptations can be mixed and matched. This barrier also isn't like the prison realm. Cursed energy does not get removed. The prison realm seals cursed energy, and since I've adapted to that kind of sealing, adding that property to the barrier would be useless. Keeping the number of properties of the barrier down makes it easier to keep stable. Tengen knew this, so she made it fundamentally different from the prison realm sealing method. She created a semi-automated barrier that can seal some of the strongest beings in the world. What a monster. Even though I couldn't escape under normal circumstances, I have a brain and can use abilities more efficiently than Mahoraga. I smile as I remember something I haven't used in years. Binding vows. Sacrificial deals made with the world can give benefits at a cost. They can be simple, like Kenjaku making deals with past sorcerers, or be heavily amplified by giving up everything, like in the case of Miwa. Obviously, I'm not going to be giving up everything since that would make this entire thing pointless, but there is one thing about this whole ordeal that is perfect. Kenjaku's consciousness is sealed in here with me. I escape. He is stuck here while I get to run around and put plans in place to prevent future events from causing too much chaos. With him sealed and Yuram dead, I'll have all the time in the world to prepare for Sukuna's revival. I'm not stupid enough to know that something must be in place to get him to revive. Killing Yuji would be the most effective option, but I'd rather not kill a child if I can avoid it. Keeping Megumi away should be prioritized over dealing with Yuji since Megumi is a vessel rather than a cage. I'd much rather kill Kenjaku, but my tracking isn't all-knowing, and he made sure that I couldn't find his real body. It only works on bodies that I have marked with cursed energy. I can track Kenjaku's current body, but I can't use it to find his real one. Gij had to seal Gojo to keep him from destroying the story, but this isn't a manga. I think it's about time to get out of this thing. My adaptation can work on this barrier. However, it is too slow to keep up with the shifts. So, what would happen if I sped it up to where my adaptations could outpace the next shift? Answer: I'd be able to walk right through the wall. The issue that I was originally worried about was allowing Kenjaku to escape, but figuring out the properties for myself made me much more comfortable with the ability to keep him in here. I close my eyes to concentrate, but a voice behind me speaks up. Farewell, Naohiro. May we meet in the future. It has been an enjoyable experience, but leaving your barrier buddy does seem cruel. My eyebrow raises. Cruel? Why the hell would I want to stay here with you? He puts a finger on his chin and ponders. I thought we'd bonded throughout our time together, but it seems like I was wrong. Then, he shakes his head. We will be seeing each other again. Maybe not tomorrow, but our battle isn't over even if it takes years. My eyes narrow as I have a murderous look on my face. I'll make sure it's over. Putting my hands on the barrier, I hear the sound of feet running towards our location. Better make this quick before Tungen screws this up. I close my eyes. I sacrifice all of my previous adaptations to these barrier shifts and 99% of my current cursed energy reserves for multiplying my adaptation speed by 100 times for 15 seconds. My body suddenly lost a ton of cursed energy, and I felt some of my adaptations leave. Here we go. Clink. 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 I see a shocked Tungen looking straight at me through the barrier wall. Slowly, I start to push my arms through the barrier, but I hear a voice. Naohiro Zenin, you don't know what you are doing. Tungen claps her hands together and closes her eyes before I feel more resistance on the barrier. I don't care if I become a binding vow merchant. I'm getting out of here, Granny. My eyes close. I sacrifice my curse technique reversal, snatch, for a year. Clink. 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 Pop. My body falls through the barrier. Catching myself, I push up and walk over to Tungen. I narrow my eyes. As much as I'm pissed at you right now, I can't kill you since you are vital to Jujutsu society. However, I can do this. Bam. I use a ton of cursed energy to punch Tungen in her stupid balance face. She flies and rolls on the floor for around 20 feet before stopping. I know I'm letting her off too lightly, but I don't want her to become unconscious or be damaged too heavily due to her roll, and I need to keep Kenjaku in his little cage. However, I'll eventually give Tungen her due. Stretching my arms, I turn around, walk outside the room, and head towards the elevator in a different room. Pulling out my phone, I dial a number that I haven't in a while. I was shocked that he had a phone. It is really convenient that he had a phone since you wouldn't think a half-curse would bother him when he has his brothers. However, he was forced to get one since he knew I had one. Ring. Ring. A familiar voice picks up. Hello, Naohiro Zenin. I was wondering when we would be discussing our arrangement. I smile. Hey, Choso. If you could stop by the Zenin compound, my brother Naoya is free at the moment. I told him about you guys, so you are free to live here for the moment. Noritoshi Kamo has been sealed for the time being, so you will be able to see your other brother soon. I'm sorry, Naoya, I've got no clue if you're free, so I'll owe you one in the future. Suddenly, I hear cheering in the background before Choso speaks up again. Ahem. Is that so? I huff a laugh. Yeah, after I get some rest, we'll talk about the future of our arrangement. He speaks back up. I see. I'll head over soon. I'll need to prepare a few things. I smile. I get it. See you in a little bit. He gives affirmation. Yes, until we see each other again. I hang up. Now that this whole thing is over, the Zenin clan can have more powerful allies to help prepare for the oncoming threats. Ugh, I'll need to go back to the compound. I feel like crap. Damn it, I haven't felt like this since I fought Toji. My body feels drained to the point where I want to lie face down and sleep. Looking forward, I see a familiar compound. I sigh. What's with that look? Do you want an apology? Turning to my left, I see a teenager with dark blonde hair, arms crossed, and a smirk. I for sure thought you would be gone for another 3 years. What mission did Tingen have you do to come back this early? I crack my neck. Mission? That was her excuse? The old bitch tried sealing me in a barrier for the rest of my life. His eyes widened. She what? I cross my arms and narrow my eyes. You heard right. Thought I was too dangerous and I was a threat to her precious balance, so she tried to seal me. Thankfully, I was able to get out of there before I could have another training time skip. He narrowed his eyes. I don't get it. I rolled my eyes. You don't need to. Don't worry, I already punched her for you. His mouth dropped. You punched Tingen? I can't help but laugh. PFT sure did. He grabbed his head. Are you insane? I raised an eyebrow. You've known me my whole life and seriously asked me that question? Naoya ran over to me and grabbed my shoulders. That is basically treason against Jujutsu society. I smirked. Who are they going to send after me? He had a defeated look on his face. Nobody. That reminded me. I got some friends coming over. They are half-cursed but are great guys. Naoya sighs. I don't know if I'm more shocked that they are half-curses or by the fact that you have friends. In any case, curses will be a pain to add to the compound not used for the punishment room. I give a malicious, closed-eye smile. Half-curse, half-human. Well, if anyone has a problem with them, let me know because I'll ensure they won't have the ability to complain anymore. He shivers. Alright, geez. Ah, that's right. Megumi wanted to see you. I throw my head back. Ugh. Potentialman can wait. I'm going to sleep. 8 or 9 years until Sukuna can be incarnated, as far as I know. However, I have learned not to over-rely on my knowledge. With Kenjaku out of the picture for the time, I'll have plenty of time to work on myself, my allies, and my family in the coming years. I'll make sure everyone will be prepared. Without continuing the conversation, I walked into the compound, ignoring everyone's gazes, and opened the door to my room. My body falls forward. I was asleep before I even hit the bed. Choso. I yell to my brothers. We are going to meet our other brother. The rest of my brothers yell in excitement. Yuji Itadori. Our final brother. We will be the perfect older siblings, and if anyone dares to lay a finger on you, they will feel our wrath. Now Hero waking up, I feel my reserves are back at 70% capacity. Having a lot of cursed energy means that there is a fairly slow recharge timer. As long as I don't use insane binding vows or fire off 5 or more domains, I'll be fine. In any case, I'm glad that I'm back home and not stuck in a room with the big bad of the verse. Tungen could have put a bed in the room at the very least, but I had to sleep on the hard tiles. It was even more stressful since I had to be careful of Kenjaku. Who knows what he would do? I'm comfortable. I just wanna sleep. Knock. Knock. A tick mark appears on my head as I sense who is outside my door. What do you want, Potentialman? The door slowly slides open, and I see a kid with spiky black hair. I just wanted to talk for a bit. Sitting up on my bed, I wave him in. What is it? He sits down next to me. I was speaking to Naoya and I was told that I can become a special grade in the future. I raised my eyebrow. Where are you going with this? I've already told you that you are Potentialman. Megumi didn't speak for a while. He sighed and then looked straight at me. Help me tame Mahoraga. I blinked. That was the point of the conversation? I thought you were going to give up on being a sorcerer or something. He recoils and looks offended. Ha! Why would I quit my path to becoming a Jujutsu sorcerer? I smirk. Well, you walk in here to talk seriously with me, your teacher. Don't act like you haven't complained to me in the past. Megumi flops his head back, but I laugh. I'm kidding, but seriously. You're aware that no Ten Shadows user has ever tamed Mahoraga. That's because the thing isn't meant to be tamed. I give a sigh of my own. If I'm being realistic with you, taming Mahoraga will be almost impossible. He looks down, but I smile. I said, almost impossible, potential man. His eyes widen. Can I really do it? A light bulb goes off in my head. I'll tell you what. We'll tame your other ones and have you practice against Mahoraga. He scoots away from me. Practice. I give him a closed-eye smile. I mean, you can't die during a ritual if I participate, and Shoko will be able to heal you whenever you get beaten up. It also doubles as practice of my own. I still need some more fire resistance. He tilts his head to the side. Why? I raise my own eyebrow. Why not get stronger when you have the opportunity? Megumi nods. Makes sense, but I don't know if I can tame Mahoraga. I laugh. Ha ha ha. You probably can't, but you have the strongest sorcerer and a top-tier medical professional on your side. If anyone can tame the thing, it's you. He clenches his fists. Then, I'm going to do it. A wide smile appears on my face. Having tamed Mahoraga already shoots you to high special grade status. Show me that you want to become an accomplishing man. He tries to give me a serious nod, but it looks hilarious coming from a 7-year-old child. Megumi gets up to leave, but Naoya peeks his head around the corner. Hey, now hero. A minute. I tilt my head to the side but smile when I sense Choso at the entrance. Running around the corner, I yell to the front. Hey, Choso. With a stoic look on his face, he makes a short bow. Behind him, deformed humans are showcased. If you didn't know them, you would assume they were made from idol transfiguration. I return his short bow. Am I to assume these are all of your brothers? While I had met them before, I only paid attention to Eso, Kechizu, and Choso. Surprisingly, he dropped his stoic face and gave a short smile. All but one, it seems. I turned to look at Naoya. This is my brother Naoya. Naoya, these are my new friends. His eye twitches. They are definitely interesting. Hey, are these the people you made a binding vow with using my name? Shamelessly, I give him a nod and a wide smile. Naoya rubs his forehead. Ugh, why does it feel like I'm the one running the clan? We have a group of unknown individuals coming into the clan compound, and father is nowhere to be found. I stretch. What do you think he's doing, drinking? He crosses his arms. Sounds about right. I keep my smile. In any case, let's get you all settled in. With that, they all enter the compound, and I was in charge of tour duty since I was the only one who knew them. It would take a while for them and the clan members to know each other and get along, but as long as you don't screw with him or his brothers, he's a chill guy. Choso and death paintings. Get. I flop back on my bed. I need a nap. Knock. Knock. My eyes widen a little. How? I didn't sense anyone. I know where this is going. Lying back down, I speak up. You can come in, Maki. I slightly narrow my eyes. I'm going to make sure that I'm able to track her. I don't like not knowing where people are at. The door slides open. You knew it was me? I nodded. I can sense things with cursed energy. If I can't sense something, it means it has no cursed energy. Too long. Didn't read. You have a heavenly restriction. She walks in and sits down near the entrance. I never got to thank you for helping Mai and me. Had you not done what you did, we would still be weak with little to no future as sorcerers. I raise my eyebrow. You're oddly mature. Wasn't Mai the one who was carrying you around? Maki straightened her back. Ever since I've gotten my heavenly restriction unleashed, I've become the older sister, and I'm strong enough to protect her. I smile. Interesting. So is that all you needed from me? To thank me? She rubs the back of her head. Well, Big Bro Naoya said that you owed him one, so he wanted me to ask you to help with my training. I've abandoned him twice, used him in a binding vow, and sent half-curses to the compound even when he wasn't free. Yeah, I think I do owe him one. I get up. Alright, but I'm going to focus on Potential Mun most of the time. She tilts her head to the side. Potential Mun? I huff a laugh. Megumi. Maki has a confused expression. Right. I walk towards the entrance and start walking towards the training ground. Are you going to come with, or do you not want help? She snaps out of her thoughts as she runs to catch up with me. Making our way to the training ground, I ask her a question. Have you been treated well here? She ponders for a moment before answering. It was bad at first, but a combination of you and Big Bro Naoya helped Mai and me fit into the clan. As we arrive, I speak up. That's so. Maki nods as she stands across from me on the grass field. I smile. Alright then, show me what you got. She gets into a stance before shooting at me and throwing a punch. I catch her fist that was sent towards my chest due to her height. My eyes widen a little. Wow, that isn't bad. I couldn't throw a punch that hard at 7 unless I was using reinforcement. She responded with a sidekick to my thigh. I checked her kick, which made her fall over. Falling back, she used her hands to push off the ground and shoot both legs towards my chin, but I tilted my head back. Using her momentum, she tried grabbing my hair as she flew past me. I was ragdolling to see what she could do, but she is not tearing my hair out. My hand flies up and grabs hers before she can get a hold and throw her across the field. I crack my neck as I smile. It looks like Potential Mun isn't the only one with potential. You would have more potential than him if not for one factor in his curse technique. She sits up and breathes heavily. Huff. Huff. Thanks, you're really strong. I smirk. I know. Maki gives me a deadpan stare but shakes her head. Big Bro Naoya was right about you. I raised my eyebrow. What did Naoya tell you about me? However, all she did was smile. I hate kids. Naoya, Zenin, Megumi and Maki will grow into exceptional sorcerers, with Naohiro as the one to train them. The next generation of sorcerers looks promising but is definitely a step down from the previous. That was due to Satoru Gojo and Naohiro carrying the entire generation, but the point still stands. I'm strong. It depends on what you call strong since I am at the highest point a grade 1 sorcerer can get. At this point, it's only a matter of time before I reach the special grade status since I'm almost 19 years old. One issue with culling some of the strongest sorcerers in the Zenin clan is that it lowers our overall power. Father isn't helping at all. I understand that he does politics, but every time I see him, he is either drinking or half listening to an important message. We need to have a change in the clan. I will be the clan head in the future, but something needs to change now. Making up my mind, I walk towards the main hall. Main hall, third POV. An old voice speaks up as he tilts a jug upside down. Damn, I'm out. The door opens to an older teenager. The old Mun, or rather, Nabito, stretched. You need something, Naoya? Naoya narrowed his eyes. Yes, I want to talk to you about the state of the clan. Nabito raised an eyebrow. What about it? Walking towards him, Naoya speaks with an irritated voice. The Zenin clan is in a tough spot at the moment, and it feels like I'm the only one doing anything. Placing the jug on the ground, Nabito sits up. Are you talking about those curses? Rubbing his head, Naoya sighs. It's a pain, but I'm getting them settled in. A smile appears on Nabito's face. Good, now, if that is all, I'm a busy man. Naoya kept his irritated expression. That isn't all. There has been a loss of power and no interaction between other clans. Am I the only one doing anything? Nabito ponders for a moment. You are doing a good job, right? That seemed to get a reaction out of Naoya. Naoya's eyes narrowed further. What are you doing for the clan that is more important than these matters? Nabito nonchalantly grabbed a new jug that the servants had handed to him. There is a lot a clan head has to do. Stopping right in front of him, Naoya spoke up. Like what? It was Nabito's eyes that narrowed. Why are you here, Naoya? Naoya looked straight into his eyes. Make me the clan head. Naobito blinked before laughing. PFT haha. His face immediately turned serious and continued. If that is all you want, get out. It isn't the time for you to become the clan head yet. Naoya raised his cursed energy. If that's the case, then I'll make it the time. Naobito's eyebrow rose, and a smirk appeared on his face. You brat. Suddenly, Naobito disappeared from his seat. Boom. Naobito threw a punch at Naoya's stomach, which was blocked by an X-shaped formation. His eyes widened. You can already react to me? Instead of replying, Naoya moved in a peculiar way. Naobito smirked, following the 24 frames. While finishing the movement, Naoya kicked at Naobito's face, but he grabbed his foot. Shink. Naoya gets trapped in a mirror-like structure for 1 second. Crash. Naobito punches the frame, and a fist mark appears on Naoya's chest. Recovering quickly, Naoya and Naobito both vanish from sight. To anyone under the level of Grade 1, both would look like they were teleporting. However, they were moving at the speed of sound. While clashing, Naobito's hand seems to be reaching for Naoya's shoulder, but Naoya manages to use his other palm to touch Naobito's side. Shink. Shink. They hit each other, and both got trapped in a frame since the rule of 24 frames wasn't followed. As the second ends, both land on their feet, and their speed shoots up higher as projection sorcery is used to amplify their speed. Naobito laughs like a madman while he and Naoya vanish repeatedly. Ha ha ha, when did you get this fast? Naoya doesn't respond as he is focusing on one thing. Taking Naobito's mantle as the third fastest sorcerer. While Naoya wants to be fast, he is realistic in his goals. This wasn't only a fight to become the clan head. It is a fight to prove that he has surpassed Naobito Zenin. Naoya becomes slightly behind Naobito's movements as their speed shoots higher and higher. He was slower. This was to be expected since he was only 18, but he had something that Naobito didn't. Suddenly, Naoya turned off projection sorcery. Naobito wouldn't let this opportunity go since Naoya had shown his skill with projection sorcery. Naobito reached out for Naoya's face to freeze and pummel him. However, Naoya said something that he never expected as his hands moved together. Domain expansion. Time Cell Moon Palace. A fleshy, womb-like structure with an eye formed as a black barrier engulfs both of them. At the last moment, Naoya was able to duck under Naobito's palm, which had previously been aimed at his face. Inside of a domain expansion, the user statistics are amplified due to environmental factors. Naobito quickly speaks up. Falling blast dash, however, he gets cut off as a reel enters his neck. Naoya's domain expansion works similarly to Nao Heroes in that you must abide by its rules as soon as you get affected by it, even for a fraction of a second. If the reel enters the one inside the domain, the rules must be followed. Falling Blossom Emotion can't deflect the sure hit after it has already made its mark, forcing Naobito to abide by the 24 frames, which are impossible to follow. He speaks back up. Falling Blossom Emotion. Contrary to his expectations, he noticed it didn't matter as he started to bleed as he felt what appeared to be a million cuts. Falling over, bleeding from the domain expansion, he looked up at Naoya, who looked down on him. A look of pity. Naoya put his hands in his pocket and turned around as he walked to his barrier's edge. We're done here. Naobito kept getting cut repeatedly for 10 more seconds before the technique's release shattered the barrier. Bleeding on the ground, Naobito spoke up. Fine. Take it. Good luck running the clan, you brat. Naoya is now the head of the Zenin clan. Shoko Yeri, what am I doing? I'm a graduated semi-grade 2 sorcerer. But for what? My whole purpose is reverse curse technique healing, and I can't explain it without using Nao Hero's explanation. I've mostly moved on since that day, but I still can't get Geto's body out of my mind. Every time I operate on someone, all I see is a lifeless Geto in their position. It sounds cliché since you see stuff like this happen constantly in fiction, but it is very real. The only time I'm able to do any form of reverse curse technique output is when I'm healing Megumi after Nao Hero tortures him. His coming back was relieving, to say the least, but it is still difficult. Being around him is different because of his no-care attitude. Gojo is similar in that aspect, but he lacks social awareness, which makes hanging around him tiresome since he acts like a child. The Zenin compound helps me relax more than a cigarette can. I've been trying to quit, but it gets easier to keep the habit when in my sheltered environment. Everyone who graduated has already moved out of Jujutsu High, and yet here I am, living with first and second years as a sorcerer. Now Hiro has talked about Megumi being a bum. Who is the bum again? The school has been pushing me further and further away, as they are also unhappy with my stay here. This is embarrassing, but I need a change of environment. I need to move out. Walking into the compound, I get a nod from the guard. At this point, I am already known by everyone, so I'm free to walk in and out of the clan. I'm unsure if I should go to the clan head or Naoya. He pretty much runs the clan. Now Hiro holds more influence but can't run a clan to save his life. I haven't seen Naobito Zenin do anything during my stay here. Arriving at the main hall, I take a deep breath. Slide. I open the door to a surprising sight. Naoya, doing work without Naobito anywhere in the room. He looked up at me. "Ah, Shoko, what can I help you with?" Now Hiro is in his room if that's what you're here for. I waved my hands. No, I came here for personal reasons. He raised an eyebrow. Personal reasons. I show a defeated expression. I need to move out, and I was wondering if I could stay here for the time being while I help with training. Naoya ponders for a moment before speaking up. I don't see why not. As long as now Hiro is cool with it, I see no problem with your stay here. His eyes widen as he remembers something. The only problem is that there is a lot I need to catch up on, so I can't help out with your situation. Talk to the servants if you need help moving in. I clap my hands together in thanks, but I tilt my head to the side after hearing him. Thanks a ton. Also, where is the clan head? Would he be all right with it? He smiled. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine with it. You're looking at the new clan head. I blinked. Ha. He brought his hands together and interlocked his fingers. Ha. I've gotten that reaction a lot lately, but yes. I am the new clan head for the foreseeable future. I nodded. Well then, I should talk to Naohiro about my situation, so good luck? Naoya huffed a laugh. Thanks. Without waiting for a response, I shuffled out of the room. What the hell? What happened since I was gone? Naobito wouldn't give up the clan head position without serious circumstances or until he died. I shook my head. Not my problem. I'm not a part of the Zenin clan. Making my way towards Naohiro's room, I think to myself. It is funny to think about Naohiro controlling the clan since he isn't involved in politics at all, but it makes sense because he is strong. At the core, strength rules society, which is why the strongest sorcerers in history stand at the top of the world. He isn't afraid to speak his mind, and being next to him is one of the safest places one can be. His personality also allows people to relax around him. If you're not his enemy. Even Megumi, who is one of the people that Naohiro decides to torture, is protected by Naohiro from outside parties. If anyone else were to hate Megumi, they would probably never be able to speak again. I stop in front of his door. Moving my hand towards the door to slide it open, I hear a muffled voice. Come on in, Shoko. A small smile appears on my face. He isn't bad. Naohiro Zenin HM, what could Shoko be here for? Potential man's training is later today, and I doubt she would come here early if she didn't want to talk about something. Slide. The door slides open. I smile and sit up. What warranted an early visit from you? She flopped her head back. I don't want to be homeless, so I asked if I could stay here. Naoya wanted me to ask you to make sure it was all right. I would be surprised if I knew that Naobito didn't care who entered and exited the compound. He let a bunch of half-curses into the clan without batting an eye. However, he leans on Naoya to fulfill most of his duties, which makes his position virtually useless. I gave her a closed-eye smile. Well, I'm not going to kick out potential man's professional healer. She smiled and raised an eyebrow. When are you going to stop calling him that? I raised my own eyebrow. When he actually does something with it. So, maybe in a few years, or maybe never. Shoko leaned her back on the wall. Well, in any case, thanks for letting me crash here. I tilted my head to the side. You technically have been working at the Zenin compound, so rejecting your stay here wouldn't make sense. She pondered, and then her eyes widened. I've been working for free. I laughed. Haha, you sure have. A tick mark appeared on her head before she sighed. I guess it's fine now that I can live here. I give her a genuine smile. As much as I like to screw around, this does mean a lot to help out Potential Man. I wouldn't be able to beat him up as much as I do without your help. She huffs a laugh. You had me in the first half, but then lost me. You have a unique way with words. I shrugged. I try. Her eyebrow raises. Clearly. Then, I notice something, and my eyes widen. You aren't smoking. She shows a sad smile. It's a bad habit I'm trying to stop. I'll be honest. One of the reasons I came here is that it helps me relax. I needed to get out of Jujutsu High if I wanted to change my life around. I show a small smile. Well, I doubt that the geezers and traditional setting made you relax. I'm happy to help. My smile turns slightly sad. Hey, I'm here if you need to talk about stuff. Shoko rubs the back of her head. Yeah, I might take you up on that. Rather than staying sheltered, I've wanted to express myself more to get back into the swing of things. You've really helped me get back into the whole healer business. I stretch my arms. Well, Naoya is busy. Maki, Mai, Megumi, Tsumiki, and Ranta are all being taught, so I could talk to someone for a bit. She crossed her arms and huffed a laugh. Well, I have nothing better to do. Shoko walked over and sat on the couch next to me. We talked for a few hours, and Shoko started to open up. She isn't bad. Now Hiro, how did it end up like this? Looking down, I see a sleeping Shoko with her head lying on my lap. I mumble with a smile. Isn't this supposed to be reversed? Who knew that I could become someone that people could lean on? I've been a panicked freak focused on getting stronger throughout my entire life and hadn't noticed the important things. After she sat down, we talked and talked. She ended up letting out all of her frustrations and insecurities to me while I sat and listened. Sometimes, you must say things out loud to release the pent-up emotions that have been hidden deep within. Shoko has never been one to voice or show emotion, so she needed some way to express it. She didn't cry, but she didn't need to. Everything was let out. Being gone for years took a toll on the people around me, and I've been so focused on preventing Gij from destroying the world. Sadly, I'm not done. I still need to prepare for events that will most likely happen. Running around blindly isn't an effective strategy for solving the world's problems. Everything can't be done alone, so I focus on others. Fostering the next generation and teaming with the previous future strongest will help me prepare against anything Kenjaku has planned for me. I have my own frustrations that I want to let out, but I can't whine and complain if I want to get things done. However, for now, this is nice. Slide. Shit, I dropped my guard. The door opens to a black, spiky-haired 7-year-old. Hey, now dash, he pauses. His eyes widen, and he slowly backs up. Did I come at a bad time? A tick mark and a murderous look on my face appear. Knock. Get out before I make you fight Mahoraga. Instead of responding, he starts to sweat and backs up before closing the door. Just a little while longer. After another 30 minutes or so, Shoko starts moving. I smirk. Rest well. Her eyes snap open, and her head flies up before her eyes widen as she realizes that she is sleeping on my lap. I add fuel to the fire. You were out for a good hour and a half. I wasn't sure you would wake up because of how relaxed you were. Shoko.exe has stopped working. Huh? She stands up and waves her hands. I'm sorry. I was tired, and I was on a couch and... I give her a smile. Don't worry about it. I don't mind. It wasn't bad at all. She face-palms. Ugh. I'm just going to go to my new room. I tilt my head to the side, keeping my smile. Potential Man finished his work, so it's training time. She flops back on the couch and curls up in a ball. Give me a bit. I smirk, stand up, and turn toward Shoko. Well, if you take too long, Potential Man is going to die from his injuries. Shoko gives me a deadpan stare, but I shrug. Just letting you know. Instead of waiting for a reply, I walk towards the training field to train, potential Mun. Tengen, what have I done? I've turned one of the potentially greatest allies into an enemy, and for what? Balance. Everything I've done throughout my life has been related to balance. As soon as an anomaly appears, I keep it contained rather than develop different strategies to influence and keep him on my side. Foolish, so foolish. My face burns as I touch my cheek. That punch he hit me with hit my soul. Immortality can let me live forever, but soul damage is something that is problematic. How could he learn such arts? Even some of the strongest sorcerers can't see, let alone damage, the soul. Since when could he see the shape of his soul? It isn't fatal, and I can still hold barriers together, so the damage won't be a large issue with keeping society safe, but it worries me. I've run into another problem. While I was able to keep Kenjaku occupied by sealing him, one thing bothered me. Why doesn't he kill himself? If his consciousness is in another body, he should be able to kill himself to transfer back to his main body. What is the point of staying here with me? I'd assumed that this sealing would halt his plans, but it seemed like he expected it. He shouldn't have many more allies strong enough to oppose Jujutsu Society, so it's unsettling that he willingly stays here. Turning off the adaptation function of the barrier allowed me more freedom to remove the possibility of ending his life. Even though I did that, he stared at me with a smile. I thought about killing him, but that would force his consciousness back into his main body, which could cause many more problems. The strongest person in the world is against me, so what can I do? In an attempt to remove the unpredictable variable, I've only created more unpredictable events. Now, hero stretching my arms, I speak to Megumi. Now that we're done, I need to talk to Choso about seeing Yuji because Kenjaku is out of the picture. I look over to see a passed-out Megumi. He probably didn't hear anything I said, but I don't care. Leaving him to Shoko, I make my way towards the half-curse area of the compound. Color me surprised when I learned that Naoya was the new clan head. I was able to make him stronger than Naobito at 18. Given Naobito's contribution, I didn't care much for it since Naoya practically ran the clan before he beat up the old man. Arriving at the half-cursed quarters, I knock on the main door. Knock. Knock. I hear shuffling before the door slides open. Slide. An eager Choso speaks up. Is it time? I smile. Yep, it's time to see your brother. He pumped his fists. Yeah. Ahem. I mean, let's go. Since it would be strange for everyone to come at once right off the bat, Choso was the only one who went with me. Finding the Itadori residence was easy since I found it years ago to be able to monitor it when I needed to make my way toward Sukuna's future vessel. I see Choso fidget as I knock on the door. Knock. Knock. After waiting for 30 seconds, there is no sound, and I catch a faint smell of blood. Both of our eyes narrowed as I reached for the door handle. Twisting it, I found that the door was unlocked. Pushing it open, I was shocked to see what was inside. Weisuke Tadayori, dead. Choso's eyes widen as he bursts through the door and sprints throughout the house. He yells. Yuji. Shit. It looks like Kenjaku had him moved. Choso rushed down the stairs and grabbed my shoulders. Do you know where he could be? I grit my teeth. Looks like Noritoshi Kumo had him moved somewhere while he is sealed. Blood-red lines appeared on his face. Do you know where Noritoshi Kumo is sealed? I crossed my arms. Tombs of the Star. Tengen has him sealed in a barrier. Normally, I wouldn't work with him on this, but I have a binding vow to fulfill. He shook in rage as he attempted to calm himself down. Can you take me there? I sighed. Tengen tried to seal me last time, and I doubt she would allow people in there ever since I punched her. What are you going to do? Choso yelled. I'm going to beat the location out of him. Even if I die, I'll ensure my younger brother is safe. Please, take me there. I ponder for a moment. I can get you close, but I'm not going anywhere near Tengen because of the shit she pulled. The problem is the changing doors if you don't know how to navigate it. His shoulders dropped. Is there no way to see my brother? My eyes widened as I pulled out my phone. I've got someone who can help. He grabbed my shoulders again and started to shake me. Who? Backing away from him so he stops, I call Gojo. Ring. He instantly picks up. Hey, you haven't called me since you returned from the mission. I sweat dropped. Were you waiting for the call? Backing the phone away from my ear, Gojo yells. Who knows if you'll be gone for another 3 years? I rub my forehead. In any case, I need your help with something. Gojo loudly speaks up. Ha! I give Choso a smirk as he looks at me like I'm stupid. A friend of mine needs to see Tingen, and we aren't the best buds now. He seemed shocked. You have friends besides me and Shoko? I sigh. Can you help? Gojo gives his own sigh. Man, you'll owe me one. I've done a ton of favors for you. My head flops back. Yeah, sorry about that. This is important since it involves Kenjaku. I'm heading to Jujutsu High, and Tungen has Kenjaku sealed. He loudly replies again. Ha! That bum again? When does a favor, you ask, not involve Kenjaku? I smile. Very rarely, but it is important. He pauses for a moment. Fine, I need to see that Kenjaku guy myself, so I'll take your friend to see the old lady. I smile at Choso. Thanks. Clap. Then, a clap can be heard. Alright, I'm at Jujutsu High. Tell your friend to meet me here, and then we'll see Tingen. I rub the back of my head. Sounds good. His name is Choso, and he's a half-curse, so he's a little strange but a good guy. Gojo sighs again. You find the weirdest people. See you both soon, then. I hang up. Choso raised an eyebrow, but I kept my smile. He'll help out, trust me. All he does is shake his head. With that, Choso and I head towards Jujutsu High. Gojo greets us. Yo. I smile as I wave and push Choso's back. Have fun at school. He gives me a deadpan stare but walks up the stairs. This is going to take a while. I wave at Gojo and his retreating form, deciding to head back to the Zenin compound. Gojo being there will ensure that nothing serious happens to Tengen. I hadn't told Gojo about my sealing yet just because it would be a problem for Tengen to gain more enemies that might kill her. Why does everything have to be so complicated? Choso the man named Gojo spoke up. So, what's your deal? Why do you want to see Tengen? I spoke with a monotone voice. Tengen has Noritoshi Kamo, or Kenjaku as you know him, sealed. He kidnapped my brother. He nods. Oh. I hadn't interacted with the guy, so I wanted to see what he was all about. We were silent for the rest of the walk. I couldn't care less if this was an awkward conversation. Please be alright, Yuji. We arrived at an elevator a while later because Tengen allowed us to pass through the constantly shifting doors. After arriving at the bottom, I see the sight of a small girl with white hair. Gojo speaks up. Hey, Tengen. Been a while. Rather than participating in small talk, Tengen spoke. Are you here because of Nao Hiro? He tilted his head to the side. Yes and no. We are here since we both want to talk to Kenjaku. Tengen widened her eyes. You wish to speak to Kenjaku? Gojo scratches his hair. That's what I just said. Her eyes narrowed. What do you need from him? I spoke up. He knows where my brother is, so I need to get his location. Gojo spoke up after me. I want to see the guy since he has been a pain in the butt. Tengen closes her eyes. Well, he technically isn't here. His consciousness is. I drop my head. How am I supposed to get my brother's location if Kenjaku isn't even here? She shook her head before standing up. Follow me. My head tilted back up as Gojo and I followed her toward a large barrier. Both Gojo and I looked confused. Gojo was the one who spoke up. That's a woman. Tengen glanced at Gojo. He can swap bodies using his technique and currently inhabits a female named Kaori Itadori. My eyes widened. Itadori? Gojo raised an eyebrow. Itadori. I walked closer to the barrier. That means Kenjaku is my brother's mother. Tengen didn't look surprised, but that got a reaction out of Gojo. What? You're related to Kenjaku? I glanced back at him. He's my father. Gojo recoiled. What the hell is this family tree? Instead of responding, Tengen raised her hand. You may now speak to him. I spoke up first. Noritoshi Kumo. Kenjaku looked up towards the wall with a smile. Is that who I think it is? A frown appeared on my face. Where is he? Kenjaku tilted his head to the side. Who? I yelled in anger. My younger brother Yuji Itadori. He had a look of realization and smiled. Ah, that's who you're looking for. It's strange that you know about him. Did Naohiro tell you? I narrowed my eyes. Where is he? He shrugged. I don't know. I'm sealed in here. How would I know where he's at? I punched the wall. Bastard. Gojo spoke up. So you're Kenjaku. You know, you've been a huge pain in the butt recently. Kenjaku rested his head on his fist. I could say you and Naohiro have been the same. Gojo shrugged. It's a shame your real body isn't here. I was hoping to end you here and now. He raised an eyebrow. Naohiro would have done it if he could have when we were in here for a few months. Gojo's eyes widened. What? Kenjaku huffed a laugh. Did he not tell you? The shut-in sealed him in here with me. She tried keeping him here for the rest of his life. He turned to Tengen. Is that true? Tengen sighed. Yes, however, I've realized my mistake. Gojo's eyes narrowed. Realized it after he got out? Pretty convenient. Before things escalated further, I turned around and walked back towards the elevator. Tengen decided to walk back to the main chamber, and Gojo stood there, lost in his thoughts, staring at Kenjaku. I'm not going to get anything here. I will find you, Yuji, and be the best older brother he can ask for. Naohiro, well, I expected this. Choso had left the compound to search for Yuji. He stomped out of the compound without even knowing what Yuji looked like, so I had to give him a description. Choso and the death paintings can sense their brothers if they are on death's edge, so he will be a better tracker than me. If Yuji even comes close to death, Choso can notify me to assist him in getting him back. His other brothers are still here, but he is going alone to find his unknown brother. I will miss the guy since he's pretty fun to hang around. He is the most enthusiastic about his brothers, so it's funny when he goes on tangents about them while they sweat drop behind him. The binding vow requires me to help. However, I can have him call me to fulfill the requirement instead of going on a crusade with him. On another note, I've gotten pretty close to Shoko. Ever since we talked things out, she has been much more open, happy, and physical when hanging out with me. I'm not a dense anime protagonist who doesn't realize what is happening. The problem is that I'm unsure if I should pursue it with everything going on. Having people close is a weakness, and Shoko isn't as strong as Naoya. However, I've reached a point where no one can screw with me. Even the higher-ups tiptoe around me. Maybe I could give it a shot. Alright, I've made up my mind. A few hours later, it becomes time for training. Maki ends up joining since she has the most promise aside from Megumi. With Maki's progress and Naoya's new position as clan head, he doesn't have time to work with someone who is shooting up an ability. Mai and Ranta only need basic training, which makes things easier for Naoya in their training. Sitting on the training field, I wait for everyone to arrive. Maki shows up first, which is somewhat expected, but Potential Mun should be here first. She begins to stretch, to which Potential Mun arrives. He has a horrified look on his face as I send him a glare that he is familiar with. A while later, Shoko shows up. I yell, Potential Mun, Maki, get over here. They run over with haste to avoid more torture. I cross my arms. Potential Mun is up first. You will be taming your third Shikigami, Nu. He looks defeated but doesn't complain. He has learned that arguing with me is a useless effort. I'm so proud of him. I raise an eyebrow as he speaks up. Can I have a shovel? A smile appears on my face. Good Potential Mun, head over to the shed and grab one. With a smile on my face, he grabs a shovel and starts digging. This might seem odd, but removing Nu's aerial advantage by keeping him in a closed-off space will make taming it a cinch if he can quickly exorcise it. Nodding, I turned to Maki. Now, Maki, you'll be doing basic physical training. I have something to attend to, so I cannot spar with you today. Instead of complaining, she nods and starts to swing and practice on the training dummies. Sitting down on the grass, Shoko joins me. Smiling, she speaks up. Originally, I thought you did this because you felt forced, but it seems like you genuinely like teaching. I shrug. Maybe I'll be a teacher at Jujutsu High. She raises an eyebrow. Didn't think you, of all people, would want to take Yaga's job after seeing what he went through. Imagine if you got students like you and Gojo. I smile. I'd make them like potential mun. AKA mess around and find out. She huffs a laugh and closes her eyes. Well, even if your methods are interesting, they do show results. At 7, Megumi is way above what he should be. He's already able to take on 2 low-grade curses. I lie back. That's mostly due to his technique since he doesn't have to get up close, but it is still impressive. Her eyes widen a tad. You're impressed with him? I smirk. No, I'm impressed with how strong his technique can be in the hands of a 7-year-old. She smiled. Why did I even ask? I rest my hands on the back of my head and stare up. Hey, would you like to go out with me? She blinks. Go out. I smile. Just the 2 of us. Going out, talking, and eating. Her eyes widened. As in a date? I sit up. Yep, I want to do something, just the 2 of us. She pauses for a moment before smiling. Yeah, I would like that. I rest my fist on my cheek. Great, does tonight work? She raises an eyebrow. Does it look like I have anything planned? I smirk. No, just thought I'd ask. Shoko ponders for a moment. You have a place in mind? I give her a closed-eye smile. I heard Shibuya has a lot of places that would be nice to visit. She tilts her head to the side. Shibuya, huh? That sounds great. Boom. As we both smile, a small explosion comes from a hole in the field. Someone's hand comes out of the ground. I did it. A black, spiky-haired kid pokes his head out from the hole with a lot of blood on his face. Shoko widens her eyes. Oh shit, hold on. She sprints over as Megumi passes out, again. 4 hours later, I've never been one to dress up and look nice, so it was strange, but I can't lie that I look pretty damn good. Thanks, Kenjaku, for the opportunity to use the prison realm. My clothes were pretty casual, a red shirt with brown pants. With me wearing training clothes 24/7, I never got to try out different clothes. I smile. I don't think I've been truly happy since coming here. Paranoia has become a part of my personality because of the constant stress, but some things need to be enjoyed. Even playing chess with Kenjaku stressed me out. It was chess. In any case, I plan on having a great time. Since we are both at the Zenin compound, we decided to go together since it was convenient. I smile as we hold hands and start having small talk. Making our way to Shibuya, I can't help but think to myself. Everything will be different. No Shibuya, and no massacre. I wanted to go here on purpose to see what it looked like before all the chaos. While entertaining in the anime, it is horrifying for someone in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. My thoughts get broken as we arrive at Shibuya, the city that turns into a hellhole after Kenjaku seals Gojo. However, right now, it is amazing. I smile. I've never been here. She raises an eyebrow. First time in a city? I smirk. Not really, but I haven't gone anywhere for enjoyment before. Shoko turns her head to the side and smiles. Well, I guess I'll have to show you around then. Her hand tightens as she starts pulling me around the city. It was an interesting experience, to say the least. We ran around and stopped at a lot of different shops. One that was interesting was a clothing store because I didn't have anything formal. Who needs it? Shoko puts her arms in an X formation and shakes her head. No, absolutely not. I tilt my head to the side. Does it look bad? She puts her hand on her chin. Not bad, but it doesn't match you. I raise my eyebrow. What matches me? She smirks. Anything that you don't pick. Giving her a deadpan stare, I sigh. I do try, you know. Shoko gives me a closed-eye smile. I know, that's why I'm here to help. Most of my picks get vetoed. I guess I don't have an eye for things like this. The next place we stopped at was a ramen place. It was amazing since I hadn't tried any good ramen since coming to this world. I smile. This is great. Haven't had ramen like this in forever. She raises her eyebrow. If this is good, then what have you been eating your entire life? I rest my hand on my chin. Food is food. She claps her hands together. My God, you have been missing out. It's not bad, but definitely not great. Let's go somewhere else. Come on, I know of a fantastic sushi place. I smile as I get pulled across the street with many people passing by. Noticing her face, my eyes widened. I never knew Shoko had this side to her. She never showed much emotion. She doesn't smoke and is constantly smiling now. I'm glad. After a few more hours of stopping at interesting places and experimenting with likes and dislikes, we decided that it was time to head home. She speaks up. I can't believe you haven't seen 90% of the stuff we visited. I rub the back of my head. It hasn't been on the front of my mind. Her eyebrow raises. Training, right. I huff a laugh. Of course, strength is everything. Look at me now. She turned to me, let go of my hand, and smiled. You look happy. Thanks for today. I really liked it. I smirk. Why are you thanking me? You were the one who dragged me around everywhere. She returns a smirk. You liked it, though. I shrugged, keeping my smirk. It was all right. She exhales as she gives a genuine smile. I needed this. Something that could drag me away from all of the jujutsu crap. I pondered for a moment. It was odd doing something different, but I enjoyed it too. Suddenly, she leaned forward. Her lips interlocked with mine. I stood there stunned for a moment before she spoke up. Let's do this again sometime. This time, I leaned in. After a few seconds, I responded. I would like that. We held hands and walked back to the compound. 3 years later, Yuta Okatsu while walking home with her, I remember the words she told me long ago. When we grow up, let's get married. My face reddened as I remembered our promise. I like Rika but can't help but be embarrassed about it. I turn to the left to see a swerving car. My eyes widen as I reach out towards Rika. Rika, look out. I closed my eyes as I expected to hear a crash. However, one didn't come. Opening my eyes, I see a tall, black-haired Mun holding Rika by the back of her shirt. Rika looks horrified as the Mun speaks up. That was a close one. I'll need to have a word with the driver. I couldn't help but shakily reply. Thanks, mister. He flopped his head back. Stop it. That makes me sound like an old man. My name is now Hiro Zenin, and we will get acquainted with one another in the future. I tilt my head to the side. What do you mean? Rika speaks up. See, can you let me down? He has a look of realization on his face and puts her back down. Ah, sorry. Anyways, you can see things others can't, right? I step back as I nod. He smiles. Well, we don't need to talk specifics, but for now, I'll see you around, kid. Turning around and walking towards the car that spun out of control, he did a back wave toward me. Rika blinked. Who was that? I glanced at her. He said his name was now Hiro Zenin. Gulp. There is something off about him. I've never felt so much of that blue energy in my life. It felt suffocating. I shake my head to remove the useless thoughts. I'm just glad Rika is all right. Now Hiro, thank goodness that I could pinpoint the time of Rika's death. It was a pain in the butt trying to find out where and when it would happen. I could have let her die so the Queen of Curses could have been born, but giving a kid PTSD by killing his friend leaves a nasty taste in my mouth. He doesn't need Rika to become one of the strongest future sorcerers, and it's another Gidge event that I was able to stop. I do not know what will happen due to my interference since Geto is already dead and Rika is alive, but it doesn't matter in the long term. The thing I need to do is find out where Yuji is. Tungen still has Kenjaku sealed, and Choso hasn't messaged me anything. Shoko is my girlfriend at this point, which is nice. I'm happy. Too bad for Gij since he isn't here to mess this up. If he were, I'd catch that cat and strangle him. Man, if I got a hold of him. His story has screwed with me throughout my life. It's frustrating since I have to worry about many things going wrong even after all this time. Now that the Yuta situation is handled, it's time to become a teacher. I have a knack for training people, so I decided to become a teacher for a job. I've got to make the bag one way or another. Shoko and Naoya have already voiced their opinions on the matter, even though she cheated to get her medical license in 2 years. I couldn't care less since she is the greatest RCT output user in the entire world. It's nearing the time of the main events, so I will make sure that even if Sukuna is revived with all 20 fingers, I can make him look like a clown. If I were as strong as Gojo a few years back, I'd definitely be at or above the peak of Jujutsu sorcery. Gojo is much stronger than his previous counterpart, so Sukuna will be the third strongest. The strongest sorcerer in history versus the strongest sorcerer of the Heian era. Has a nice ring to it. Anyways, it's time to get to work, literally. 5 years later. With this treasure, I summon 8-handled sword Divergent Sila Divine General Mahoraga. A behemoth appears behind a 14-year-old kid. The kid speaks up. Go. Totality. A large wolf materializes, growl. Suddenly, the wolf jumps towards Mahoraga. Bam. Totality gets slammed back with one punch. Normally, one of the divine dogs would need to die for Totality to be formed, but Megumi figured out, was told, how to fuse the Shikigami together. Megumi's eyes widen as Mahoraga speed blitzes him. Bam. He gets hit in the face, which sends him flying into a wall. Boom. However, unlike the previous Megumi, he stood up with blood on his face. Something that could be noticed was that the gashes across his face and head were visually healing. Reverse Curse Technique. Megumi couldn't use Reverse Cursed Technique on his own, but he recently learned how to use Roundier's traits for Reverse Curse Technique without materializing the Shikigami. He narrowed his eyes and brought out his first trump card. Tiger Funeral, Totality, Merged Beast Korori. The face of a tiger and the body of a wolf, Korori, is the greatest offense that Megumi has learned thus far. Mahoraga jumps at Korori, but it combines the speed and attack power of both Shikigami to create a monster that would be a nightmare for all but the highest of Jujutsu. They meet in the air, and their hands lock as Korori gets slowly pushed back. Korori roars in the face of the Divine General. Roar. Squelch. It bites down on Mahoraga's shoulder. Clank. Mahoraga had to adapt to Megumi. Suddenly, Mahoraga pushes Korori off him, taking a chunk of his shoulder. It quickly heals as Mahoraga swings the Sword of Extermination to cut the Shikigami in two. However, the sword passes through the liquid shadow like butter. Turning back to Megumi, Mahoraga starts shooting towards Megumi. He brings his hands together and uses his second trump card, Domain Expansion, Chimera Shadow Garden. While incomplete, a domain expansion amplifies the user's abilities, allowing him to avoid Mahoraga's punch. Toads grab onto Mahoraga's legs to slow it down. Totality forms from behind Mahoraga, aiming to pierce and exorcise it. However, clank. Mahoraga spun around and slashed the domain created Totality in two as his domain's sure-hit properties became useless. The domain dissipates as Mahoraga swings at Megumi Fushiguro. The Divine General punches Megumi across the side of his head. He lost. An older voice speaks up. Not bad. Potential man. Megumi was revealed to be unconscious and bloody due to a cursed energy drain and the strike from Mahoraga. He was in a state of suspended animation or pseudo-death. Mahoraga turned to the black-haired adult and took a step backward. The Mun, or now hero, gave the behemoth a closed-eye smile and cracked his knuckles. Been a little while, huh? 5 seconds later, now hero flopped his head back. Man, I wish I could keep farming Mahoraga wheels. They are so cool. Imagine the flex of carrying around 50 of those things. While he stretched, another person was sweating while keeping Megumi from dying by healing his head trauma. She had a tick mark on your head. Give me some more time before the ritual ends, or he will die. He smirked and rubbed the back of his head. It's not supposed to be a reward. He was 10 minutes late to training. She sighed. You are so petty. He shamelessly smiled. I know, but that's why you like me. Shoko raised an eyebrow but shook her head and smiled. Now Hiro widened his eyes as he remembered something. I need to take care of something. He ran over to her and gave her a kiss on the cheek before making his way out of the compound. Now Hiro train, teach, hang out with Shoko, repeat. Teaching has been pretty mundane at this point. I'm currently teaching Maki, Panda, and Inamaki, but another will join. Yuta Okatsu. I've contacted him, and he will make his way here. I taught Kinji Hikari last year. The gambling femboy enjoyer himself. He was a handful, even for me. However, he learned really quickly that you shouldn't mess with me. Let's just say that he was thankful that he became Gojo's student in his second year. Megumi will be joining next year, and I will make sure that Maguna does not happen. All of Megumi's Shikigami are tamed outside of Mahoraga. Of course, he couldn't have Mahoraga at this point. He is only 14 years old. Had Maki not been here, he wouldn't be nearly as strong. Come to figure out that she can jump into his rituals to help him. The heavenly restriction breaks fate, which is perfect for when we need to tame Mahoraga. Both of them still can't beat it together, but they are on their way to reaching his level. The world didn't think about the loophole to taming the shadows. As much as I clown and torture him, Megumi is 14 and has 9 of his shadows tamed. Undoubtedly, he is already way stronger than his previous counterpart. He will not become fraudulent as long as I'm alive. The Mahoraga merchant is no more. I've ensured that he will be in a world of pain if he even thinks about summoning him. He can only summon him for his punishments or serious taming attempts, mostly resulting in an unconscious beatdown. It was cool to learn that Mahoraga remembers me. The thing stepped away from me. Mahoraga was scared of me. My thoughts get broken as a certain white and black animal speaks up. Now Hiro-sensei, what are we going to be doing today? I smile. It turns out that we have another student joining our class. Maki looks uninterested, while Inamaki nods. Fish flakes. I smirked as I sensed someone outside of the door. Slide. Walking into the room, everyone's eyes widen as they sense his raw amount of cursed energy. Maki smiles while Inamaki and Panda start sweating. The kid in question speaks up. Nice to meet you, I'm Yuta Okatsu. I only smile. Welcome to Jujutsu High. Jujutsu High. The professor spoke up a few hours after Yuta's introduction and near the end of class. For your first mission, Yuta and Maki will deal with a curse. Yuta looked horrified. What? Isn't it too early for something like that? Bonk. He rubbed his head as he turned towards Maki. She spoke up. Stop complaining. I'm going there, so you'll be fine. Yuta turned towards Naohiro. But will it be all right? Naohiro gave him a closed-eye smile. You will be fine if it isn't a disaster-grade curse. Maki is strong. Still, Yuta couldn't help but sweat. Inamaki pointed at himself. Salmon. Panda also looked confused about his role. Naohiro smirked. I'm doing this since Yuta hasn't been exposed to Jujutsu Society, so while he will be doing a mission, you two will have homework. Panda and Inamaki looked depressed, as they knew Naohiro's homework assignments. He calls it homework, but it is known as torture for all students taught by him. Instead of waiting any longer, Maki grabbed Yuta's shirt. Stop complaining if we are going to be working together. She started dragging him out of the class. Yuta voiced his complaints. I can walk on my own. Maki turned towards him. I was excited to find someone strong to test myself against, but all I got was a crybaby. He recoiled. Hey, I'm new to this thing. Out of nowhere, Naohiro-sensei comes to my door and starts enrolling me in this school. I was forced. Maki used her other hand to facepalm. I'm really stuck with you. Yuta looked defeated. She continued, and a wide smile appeared on her face. I've thought of something. Until you become strong, you'll be known as Potential Man Number 2. He tilts his head to the side. Number 2. Maki nods. Yes, potential man number 1 is already taken. Yuta looks confused but shakes his head. Can you let me go now? Her eyes slowly turn towards him in a glare. For now, but you will need to stop it with that cowardly attitude you have going on. He sighs. Yes, ma'am. Maki lets go and starts to head towards their mission site, with Yuta following suit. A voice speaks up from behind him. Hey, Yuta. I forgot to tell you something. Maki, can you wait at the entrance? Maki looked a little irritated but listened as she walked away. Yuta looked up at Naohiro to see him with a closed-eye smile that wasn't meant to be nice. Is there something you need from me? Instead of responding, Naohiro put his hand on Yuta's shoulder. Squeeze. Yuta couldn't help but grunt as his shoulder was being squeezed. Ah. Is there something I did wrong, sensei? Naohiro moved his head closer and whispered. Whisper. Don't think about trying anything with Maki. You must get my approval before anything happens between you two. Yuta looks horrified and doesn't argue. Yes, sensei. Naohiro huffs a laugh as he releases his grip on Yuta's shoulder. Great, if you don't, I'll put you through worse training than potential man. Yuta's eyes widened in realization, but he nodded, turned tail, and sprinted towards the entrance. He thought to himself, I'm going to die. Elsewhere, unknown POV. Maki Zenin. He has a female in his class. Can I get rid of her somehow? What a nuisance. A classmate can get close to someone given enough time. I'll need to figure out how to deal with Jujutsu sorcerers since they aren't as easy to handle as regular humans are. My face reddens as I think about him. He has been living with me for a while now, and I love how he stutters around me. I love the way he looks at me. I love Yuta. He belongs to me, and I'll kill anyone who gets in the way of us. Oh Yuta, you innocent soul, we'll get married, right? Just a few more years, and we will be together. Forever. Tombs of the Star Tingen spoke up behind the barrier. Knight d4. The other person moved the white knight to the d4 square. Kenjaku spoke from the other side. Not the worst move, but not the best. Tingen sighed. How long has it been since we talked and played a game without any other intentions? The person behind the barrier tilted her, or his head to the side. Last night. Tingen rubbed her forehead. I mean, truly played a game of chess? Kenjaku had a soft smile on his face. To be honest, I can't remember. Tingen sat down. Tell me something. Kenjaku looked up at Tungen. What is it? A sad expression appeared on Tengen's face. Why? Kenjaku huffed a laugh. You already know the answer to that. She looked up. I know, but even after all this time, I still can't figure you out. He smiled. I'm like that. The atmosphere changes. After 8 years of being sealed inside here, you still have an aloof nature. How can you stay in here with no worries? Kenjaku stretched. I'm sure you know that I could have gotten out of here a long time ago by transferring my consciousness, but I thought I would stay here with an old friend. Tengen's eyes narrowed. An old friend? Tell me the real reason. He smiled. There are a few things. The first is that I've been fulfilled by the one who breaks the rules of existence in this world. I've been searching, and I finally found it. Tengen's eyes narrowed. Naohiro Zenin. He looks at the ceiling. There are so many questions that surround him. 1,000 years and I hadn't found what I'd been searching for. Sure, he got in the way of my plans, but the amount of knowledge that could be gained by studying him was immense. I'm curious as to what his offspring would look like. The passed-on traits and their impact on the world. Will they be like him or follow the world's rules? Tengen crosses her arms. And the other? Kenjaku replies with a cryptic message. That wouldn't be fun to tell you. You could say I'm fulfilling my role while others are fulfilling theirs. She stood up. Fulfilling a role? He nodded. And right now, my role is about to change. Suddenly, Tengen's eyes widened. She appeared lost in her thoughts but was sending a message. Step. Step. Slow walking could be heard a few meters away from her. Tengen gasped. How were they able to bypass my barrier? The steps stopped. A woman with white hair and a red streak showed herself at the doorway to the extra barrier room. The woman spoke up. I've been busy with Yugon. Spurt. The woman coughed as a red beam flew through her chest. What? If one followed the beam's trajectory, they would see a Mun with two hair buns clapping his hands together, pointing straight at the intruder 50 feet away. Yuram fell on her knees as the reverse curse technique healed the stomach wound. Choso spoke up. You are the accomplice moving around while Noritoshi Kumo is sealed. Yuram narrowed her eyes at him. Failing to kill me with that opening move will cost you your life. He looked unbothered. I aimed for your non-vitals because I'm going to have you answer a few questions for me. Yuram raised an eyebrow. Questions. Red lines formed on his face as his eyes showed nothing but malice. Choso spoke in a deep tone. Where the hell is my brother? Yuram scowled and stood up. Kenjaku, you could have told me the death painting was here. Kenjaku shrugged and stuck his tongue out. I've been sealed. How could I tell you? She cracked her neck and moved to get into a fighting position. However, URG. She fell on her knees once more. Her eyes widened. Poison. Choso slowly walked towards her. My blood is poisonous to sorcerers like you. As a half-curse, blood can be created using cursed energy different from normal blood manipulations properties when used in my hands. Yuram's expression turned ugly, but she became surprised as she felt his cursed energy shoot up. A binding vow of telling opponents techniques properties. His eyes narrowed, and he put his arms together again. Convergence, piercing blood. A red beam is shot straight at Yuram.
And that concludes this episode. If you enjoyed it, I'd seriously love it if you guys could leave a like on the video, as it genuinely helps out so much, and it keeps me going, plus it takes only 1 second. That said, have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.